Also amazing how much harder you practice when you know you're going to play.
Well, that's true. I talked with Lloyd a long time ago, and even when Sterling was healthy, and I said, Lloyd, do you realize that you are one bad game and a sprained ankle from being the starting quarterback? And he really didn't realize the magnitude of what he was entering into, and I think now he understands his role and understands that he can be a contributing factor to the Tennessee football team, and he's ready to take.
Tennessee's opponent today is Temple, a team from Philadelphia that really believes they can win this football game. They're going to throw a lot of things at Tennessee's offense. Mike Keith and Ron McCartney, also members of our Video Seat broadcast crew, they're on the field to talk, Mike, against about a Temple team that really has a pretty good shot today, they think.
No question about it, Bob. Talking to a couple people in Philadelphia this week, they've told me the same thing. Hey, this is the game Temple thinks they can get to put them with the big boys. Ron, I guess let's start from the Tennessee perspective. This is an Eastern team they don't know much about. They're coming off a disappointing loss to Alabama. Notre Dame is next. How do the Vols avoid being upset?
They have to come out there and set the tempo of the game early, make something good happen, get the crowd of 90,000 plus behind them, and send Temple in the hole and make some turnovers or do something defensively that will help the offense score some points and gain some confidence back.
Let's turn around and look at the Owls' perspective. What have they got to do to pull the upset?
Well, just the reverse. Quarterback Matt Baker has been a hero in the fourth quarter of the last 3 games they've had. He needs to set the tempo early. He needs to drive the team down the field. He's probably the best quarterback so far this year Tennessee's played as far as a runner, a passer, the total package. And if they can move the ball early on Tennessee's defense and get it in the end zone, then they think they have a chance to win the game.
Last year, the Owls were 1-10. They ended the season with a victory over Rutgers. They've improved a lot. Obviously, a better team this year. Why are the Owls better? Second-year coach Jerry Burns says there are many reasons, but that his team's attitude may be the main one.
We're a much more confident team. It's a group of youngsters who believe in what we're doing. We've had a whole year and a half in our system now, and they're playing very hard. We still don't have the talent level of somebody like Tennessee, but I think our youngsters are giving us great effort on the football field.
The Owl defensive unit is much improved. Even though Temple is allowing the opposition 25 points a game, in the last 2 weeks they've stopped Virginia Tech and East Carolina in the fourth period and helped the Owls to come from behind wins. Tackle Kenyatta Rush anchors a solid defensive line, while linebacker Santos Stevens leads the squad in total hits.
I look at it this way. Defensively, we've been pretty strong because we've been a pretty tight unit. But in the same token, offensively, we've come a long way too.
The improvement in Temple's offense coincides directly with the return of quarterback Matt Baker. Due to injury, Baker missed all but the first half of the Owls' first game a year ago, but he's back, and Baker to wide receiver Rich Drayton has been the combination that's led Temple to its consecutive comeback victories.
I think these past couple of games where we were down, we had practically the whole team believing that we could pull it out, and I think that's a big difference from years past. And once you have that and the team believes in you, I mean, there's no telling what you can do.
Another motivational factor for the Owls is they're playing for another of their teammates. Carlos Diaz, a redshirt sophomore wide receiver from Washington, D.C., has been diagnosed recently with lymphatic cancer. In the last 2 comeback wins over East Carolina and Virginia Tech, they've come back hard, and they say Diaz is a big reason they've been able to do it. Bob Kessling, they're playing for him today as well as playing for the victory.
Mike, thanks very much. At Neyland Stadium, crowd on its feet. Ladies and gentlemen, the invocation and then the national anthem with the Pride of the Southland Band. Pizza and the national anthem from Neyland Stadium. The game is a sellout. The crowd still coming in to Neyland Stadium on just a gorgeous afternoon in November in East Tennessee. Tennessee has had a knack of winning games in November. Dating back to 1984, Tennessee has won 21 straight games this month, and now they hope November is good for them also in 1990. Tennessee and Temple today. The Volunteers 4-1-2, Temple 4-3. Coach Johnny Majors says this team has done a lot of soul searching the last 2 weeks, trying to bounce back from that loss to Alabama. We'll see how they do today as the Volunteers hit the field. Temple Owls come in. That's Matt Baker, their quarterback, number 12. Very confident player. Temple is 4-3 on the year, but they've won 4 of their last 5. Their last 2 wins have been against Virginia Tech. They came from behind in the 4th quarter to win 31-28. And against East Carolina, they won 30-27. Jerry Byrne in the white hat is the head coach of the Temple Owls. Last year, Temple went 1-10. Right now, they are 4-3. So they've made a dramatic turnaround, and a lot of that has to do with Matt Baker, their quarterback, who last year injured his shoulder in the first game of the season, missed the remaining 10 games. This year he has been healthy and is the spark plug. Coach Johnny Majors has said that his football team really stopped itself against Alabama. And Condredge, that's the key today, I think, is to make sure Tennessee does not stop itself offensively.
They can't make the mistakes that they made last week. Offensively, they just really hurt themselves, like you said, and they drives were just negated because they didn't do well in execution. I think their offensive line has to play much better. They have to give Andy Kelly time to execute plays and throw the football. He cannot have people in his face. He's not effective when he has to move his feet like that. He has to have time, and I think if they do that, it'll work out well.
Ronnie, this Tennessee defense, you can't argue with their play. They've not given up a touchdown in 8 quarters, but they'll be tested today.
They will. They will be facing in Baker the best quarterback complete as far as being able to run and pass that they played all year. And Coach Larry Lacewell is really looking up to the challenge, but is definitely saying that this won't be a game like a Pacific or a Texas El Paso. This is a stiff challenge for the defense.
Tennessee has won the toss, and they've decided to defer their decision. I would guess that Temple will take the football and try and establish something offensively to start things. So Temple will get the ball first. Before today's game, another Tennessee tradition was reinstated. Since 1980, Tennessee has not had a walking horse parade around Shields-Watkins Field. Today, they brought it back. One of the reasons, because of the artificial surface and for the safety of the horse. But today, they laid down a strip in front of the stands, and the Tennessee walking horse is back. Tennessee last night had a big gala celebration at the Thompson Bowling Arena to celebrate 100 years of Volunteers. And in case you could not make it to the celebration last night, that entire program now will be available on UTV home video. The gala honored the all-time Tennessee teams from pre-1940 to the modern era, and the retail price is $19.95 plus tax and handling. You can get it through the mail or telephone. And you should send $24.50 to UTV home video, P.O. Box 11125, Knoxville 37939. Condredge Holloway, of course, was named the Tennessee quarterback in the all-time team. Condredge, I know there's a lot of emotion last night in that ceremony and the big gala.
Well, it was, and just getting the chance to just rehash the 70s and think about the times and the good times and the bad times, and just talk a little bit about Coach Bill Battle really made me proud to be there, and I know we had a lot of people that represent the 70s era, and it was just a great time. It was a great opportunity for me.
Now it's time to talk 1990 football, and Joey Chapman ready to kick it off for Tennessee. One thing about Temple, Kevin McCoy, their top kickoff returner, is out with a sprained ankle. He's not here today. Tennessee to kick it off, and Chapman kicks it short. Somebody's got to get it. That's a free ball, and Tennessee is not going to get it. Boy, it was down there for everybody to get a hold of it. Dave Thomas, 13, was there, but finally it was Scott McNair, number 24, that pounced on it. Temple got a break getting that one back. And now Matt Baker comes to work, their quarterback. 6 foot 175, a senior from York, Pennsylvania. There are his stats: 5 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's also a very good running quarterback. And Larry Lacewell, Tennessee's defensive coordinator, said that is the one key in Baker, the fact that he gives you both the throwing and the running threat. They're a one-back offense with Leon Brown, the standing tailback. And Brown gets the ball first. Couple of tough yards up the middle, and Temple will have 2nd and long. There's the offensive line for the Temple Owls. They're big and strong. Trey Johnson, 6'3", 301. Dick Beck is their center end leader, 6 foot 275, a senior. And Eric Warren, also a big guy, 6'3", 280. The quarterback is Baker. They're the running backs. Brown and Swanson is the fullback. The wide receivers, Drayton is their best wide receiver, number 83. That's Graff in motion, and Brown will try straight ahead and runs into Mark Moore. Moore was there, and also in the middle, Kerry Bailey. So Temple has come out trying to establish a running game against Tennessee's defensive line, which will have Chris Mims, the junior college transfer, Mark Moore, Kerry Bailey, and Chuck Smith, another junior college player. The linebackers, they lead the team in tackles, 1, 2, and 3. Hardy, Walker, and Fields. Fields, the leading tackler. The secondary, Dale Carter, all-SEC candidate, Fletcher, Lincoln, and Miley are the corners. Temple, 3rd down, along 8. Baker's first pass. And he is going to get a first. Well, maybe not. He looks like he's a yard short. Ernest Fields comes up to make the stop. Condrich, that's what we talk about Baker right there.
Well, he's got good feet, and he has the ability to get out of bad situations by using his legs. And one thing that I know Coach Lacewell was concerned about is when you drop into perfect defensive coverage and you have a quarterback that can get out and break coverage and get up and run on you, it causes you a problem because you get penalized for playing good secondary defense.
Temple's motioning. It's a first down. They're going to stretch the chain and look like it was short. Let's see. And it's going to be short. About 2 or 3 inches short, and Temple's not going to risk it. So Tennessee's defense answers the bell and stops Temple. 3 plays and out. And now the Volunteers will drift Dale Carter back to get the punt from Trent Thompson. Thompson averaging 41 yards per kick, and that's Dale Carter. Carter averaging 12.5 yards per kick return. He'll stand back about his own 25. Tennessee got the return set up. Bad kick, wobbly, short. It'll hit at the 32, take a Tennessee bounce, and it'll be downed. And Tennessee will have excellent field position at its own 35-yard line. Temple gets Scott Holland down to field the punt. 23 yards, no return, and Andy Kelly comes onto the field to try and lead this Tennessee team. There are his stats: 9 interceptions, as many as he had all of last year, and the 4 touchdown passes well below what he had last year. He had 7 TDs last year.
Well, get ready for the ball to go in the air. I think we might come out doing something a little tricky this first couple of plays.
Tony Thompson, the standing tailback. Carl Pickens on the reception. That's close to a first down, about 9 yards. Kyle Glasper makes the stop. There's Tennessee's offensive line. It's a good one. McCray and Davis, All-American candidates at tackle. Tom Myslinski, one of the better guards in the conference. John Fisher and Doug Baird. The backfield for Tennessee, the wideouts are Harper and Pickens. They haven't caught many passes the last couple of weeks. Poles and Thompson, the running backs. Von Reeves, the tight end, and Andy Kelly is the quarterback. Tennessee throws on first down. Now it's 2nd and short. And the fullback gets the first down, Roland Poles.
I tell you just can't measure how valuable that first completion was. I mean, it even got the fans involved. I know it made Andy's confidence level rise, and it made the wide receivers realize that today might be our day, and we're going to get back to normal and play Tennessee football and put the ball in the air a little bit.
There's the Temple defensive front. Birch made the last stop. Constantinos is their best player up front. The linebacker, Stevens, a good one, and we'll check the secondary in just a moment. Kelly, play action.
We got a touchdown. Throw it.
Kelly overshoots his man. Carl Pickens threw it behind him. Condors, they had a guy wide open.
That's a little wheel route, and it worked perfectly. Vince Moore ran the wheel right behind Alvin Harper, and if we get it on the replay, he was wide open, and I'm sure we'll come back to that one another time because that was a touchdown.
Ron, Tennessee thinks they can throw on Temple's secondary, don't they?
Temple's line is big and strong, but their secondary may be big, but they're slow. And they're giving Tennessee's receivers a lot of cushion because they know the speed and the quality of the wideouts that Tennessee has, and that's where hopefully the offense can take advantage of the defense here.
So Kelly 1 of 2 in passing. Second down, long. The draw. Pickens is open and Moore drops the ball. Pickens came wide open across the middle, and Fitz Moore had the ball and dropped it. 3rd and 10.
That was a tough catch. That ball was a little bit behind, and I think if Andy had to do that one again, he'd like to have a little better throw. But I see that we got a replay on that one. We take a look at this play here. Good play action fake, which is something that we wanted to establish because we think with the play action pass, see that ball's a little bit behind him, and it could have been a better throw. But you got to make big league catches like that sometimes.
More wideouts now for Tennessee. Adams in the slot to the near side. Kelly straight back. Throws the ball way across the field. It's caught by Harper, but out of bounds. Kelly winds up on his keister, and Tennessee misfires on 3 straight passes, and now we'll have to punt the ball. 12:32 to go in the first period, and Tennessee and Temple are scoreless. Both defenses have stopped the initial onslaught. And now Temple will drop back Drayton, and also back there is Hornbaker. The usual return man, as we said, McCoy is not here because of a twisted ankle. Chapman, the leading punter in the SEC, for his first punt of the day. Driving spiral, beautiful catch. Drayton will let it launch and go into the end zone. Knocked it out at the 1-yard line.
Great coverage. Great coverage hustling down the field.
Daryl Hardy got down there and slapped the ball, kept it in play, a 50-yard punt. Smokey even liked that one.
Great play by Daryl Hardy. Got a replay.
Signal for the fair catch. The return man did what he was supposed to do.
Ooh, that might have hit the line.
Hardy tapped it right out over the pylon there. The pylon's considered part of the end zone, but the judgment call was that it's right there on the 1.
Well, that might have hit the line now.
But we don't have instant replay in college football, so that's good.
Now Baker's team's in a hole. That ball is right on the goal line. And they give it to Brown, their big, strong tailback, and he rushes out for a couple of yards, some operating room. Chuck Smith makes the top stop for Tennessee. Brown's an interesting story. He's had all kinds of really personal problems. He was redshirted, had injuries. His mother died last year, and that set him back a little bit. But Brown, a guy who bench presses 355 pounds, will be the workhorse today, especially coming off the goal line. He picked up 3. It's 2nd and 7 from the Temple 3. Brown again. Ooh, almost broke it. Daryl Hardy came up and really saved a big play.
He sure did. You saw that one too, Ron.
There was a good hold of the outside there. Hardy fielded very well. One of the things that Hardy's excelled at this year, you can see him tripping him up on the line, is his play on special teams. During the kicking phase of the game, of course, it cost Tennessee the game against Alabama, but twice he was within a whisker of blocking a punt. There he downed the ball in this last punt situation. Daryl's really playing around the football very well.
They say no gain on the last rush by Leon Brown. 3rd and 7. Tough spot here for Baker. And they're just going to keep it on the ground, trying to wedge out some yardage to punt. Chuck Smith makes the stop for Tennessee as the ball was handed to the fullback, Conrad Swanson.
Tennessee's game plan defensively coming into this is slanting their line, getting people. The line is not very much bigger than the Owls, but they feel like they've got a lot more quickness. So instead of playing read defense and stepping up there and taking them on, they're taking a shoulder, they're taking a gap. They're trying to create something to move the line of scrimmage back.
Dale Carter stands back at his 47-yard line as Trent Thompson will punt from his own end zone. That's a pretty good kick from there. Carter back at his own 47. He's got a seam. Dale Carter to the 20 and out of bounds. Rolled out by the punter, Trent Thompson.
I tell you, we were just one blocker away from scoring on that one. One person, I think it was the kicker that made the play.
But I tell you what, the kicking game right here again, you can't see it, you can just see Carter running, but there were 4 Temple players on the ground when Dale Carter caught the football. It was a great job of blocking by the return team and getting him into the open hole where he could have almost broke it right there. But I counted 4 different players that Tennessee's defensive return team got on the ground after the ball was kicked.
34-yard return by Dale Carter, and Kelly hits Carl Pickens inside the 10. That's a first down to the 6-yard line.
I tell you, we can do that all day. They're playing so far off. They're respecting our speed so much that they're just giving us the quick game, and that's something we should just keep wearing out until they stop it. I don't think they've got enough confidence to come up and play us tight man-to-man. They're going to play us loose, which gives us that quick game.
Greg Liberty, the outside linebacker, made the stop for the Temple Owls. Tony Thompson at tailback. Tennessee has had some problems here inside the 10-yard line scoring this year. First and goal here, and Thompson gets the carry. Thompson to the 3. Spun off his feet by Tony Schmitz, the strong safety who came up. Schmitz, a freshman junior from Independence, Kansas. He's one of 11 junior college players in this Temple team. 8 of them really play a lot on defense. As Temple, when Jerry Burton took over, said his team needed immediate help, and they went after junior college players. So far, paying some dividends. Right now, his team is backed up. Second and goal. Thompson again at tailback. Thompson again will try it. He'll get close, but not in.
Hey, this is an area of the field where the offensive line has to just take charge because the onus is on them for us to get into the end zone.
Alfonso Taylor and David Jones come up to make the stop. So, Conrad, you talked about this. Inside the 10, Tennessee just had problems. They didn't do it against Alabama. Couldn't punch it in. Didn't punch it in,
and now this is a very important series because if we don't get this one in, if Tennessee line doesn't produce and get this one in, they've got to start thinking about what happened to them in Alabama, and I just hope we can punch this one in. I think that's in. Touchdown.
Option. Tony Thompson, flag is down.
We got a holding penalty.
It's going to be in the end zone, but we'll see what it is.
Oh, no.
It looked like an illegal procedure or a hold.
Hold. The line judge made the call after the snap. It looked like there was a hold there. The Temple players, of course, once we got the ball inside the 5, they brought their goal line defense in. And that's one thing Tennessee hadn't been getting the surge off the ball on. But it might be an offensive hold. Looks like the point's the other way.
Tony Thompson goes in for the touchdown. Onside Temple, and Tennessee leads 6-0. 8:44 to go on the quarter. Well, we all guessed different things. We're all wrong.
That's why we're up here.
So Tennessee, after the Dale Carter punt return, cashes in from 16 yards out, and now Greg Burke on to attempt the extra point. Right down the middle, Tennessee leads 7-0 with 8:44 to go in the first period. Good start for Tennessee. Conrad's, I think, the quick passes to Pickens, and then this is the touchdown, but that has really loosened up Temple.
It has. They came out with a fear of our receiver speed. It's obvious. They're playing very, very loose, and I think we just have to take advantage of that and throw the ball underneath, because if you get the ball in the hands of Pickens and Harper one-on-one, one missed tackle and a 5-yard gain turns into a major, major play. And we just got to utilize that opportunity right now while we have it, because eventually they're going to have to come up and play us tight.
Terrific cutback by Tony Thompson. He just froze James Harris at Temple, and Thompson gets in for the touchdown.
Another guy left there was Roman Hale, who's probably one of their best special team players that we've seen in films all week. And the first 2 times that he's came down the field on punt coverage, Tennessee's got him on the ground blocked both times.
That's the 9th touchdown for Tony Thompson. And so Tennessee now leads at 7-0. Volunteers to kick it off again with Joey Chapman. I'm telling you what, you could not have asked for a more perfect day for football than we've gotten today. Outstanding weather. Chapman's kick, this one's better. Long, high, drifting back into the end zone is Drayton. Here he comes. Check that. That was not Drayton. That was Leslie Stewart. 23, not 83, and he's not back to the 20. Let's go down to the field now and Mike Keith. Mike?
Well, Bob, that touchdown could not have come at a better time for the Tennessee football team after Tennessee's first offensive series. Condridge Holloway was absolutely right. they were looking and thinking about the Alabama game after the 3 straight incompletions. But right there, the touchdown and the mood on the ball sideline is completely turned around. Back to you guys.
9th touchdown of the year for Tony Thompson. Temple has been backed up all afternoon so far. This is their 3rd possession. And now they start at their own 17. Running play, nothing going there. Brown stopped, slowed, and knocked down. Baker was there, Chuck Smith was there, and Chris Mims. Terry Bailey, a guy that they say he's too short, too slow. He just keeps making big plays.
Kerry has just done what the coaches have asked him to all year. When Mark Moore was hurt early in the season, he started at left tackle. When Fuller went out at right tackle, he stepped over there, and he's probably been the most improved defensive lineman on the football team. As the season rolls around, he's been a stalwart, making a lot of big plays. Tom
Fuller, by the way, is still bothered by that sore ankle. He will not play today. Could have played today, but they're going to keep him out to make sure he's healthy for Notre Dame next week. Miscommunications, little bump. Baker, though, makes something out of it. Gets up near the 20-yard line. Again, Chris Mims is there for Tennessee. Fletcher is 36. Lincoln 25 for Tennessee. Leon Brown now has rushed the ball 6 times for only 4 yards. As counter-drill, Temple has not been able to open up the offense at all.
This doesn't look characteristic of what we've seen on film. I think they're trying to establish something that they don't have. Their forte is getting the ball in the air and dropping back and letting their quarterback have the option to run and make something happen or get the ball to their open receivers. They're establishing the running game was not what I've seen film all week, so I think they're trying to do something they're not capable of.
No backs behind Baker now, as it's 3rd down and 8. And the pass is dropped. That would have been a 1st down. All he had to do was get up and drop back about 3 yards, and Brown couldn't hang on. Brown maybe heard a few footsteps there.
Well, Tennessee just dropped back to the defense. Temple's limited because they're inside their 20-yard line. They don't want to make a mistake that will give Tennessee an opportunity, but so far the Volunteer defense is reacting well, and those footsteps get heard every now and then.
Temple only had the ball for a minute and a half. They got it at 8:44, now 7:01 to go in the 1st quarter. And Temple's defense is going to get worn down if the Owl offense can't hold on to the ball a little bit longer than that. They don't have a lot of depth. Another punt by Thompson to Dale Carter, who drifts back to his 30-yard line. And here he comes again. Gets away from Santos Stevens. He's at the 35 to the 40. Breaks a tackle to the 44-yard line.
One block away again. I mean, that was a biggie. That could have been all the way. What do you think, Ron?
That guy we were talking about, Roman Hale, just did a super job covering. Their searchlight man comes down on the right-hand side as the safety, and he makes sure to make the tackle. If it wasn't for him, the race was off. Right there's Dale's great move on the replay. Good stiff arm, manages to miss the official. Right here comes Hale making the tackle that saved a long gainer.
14-yard return for Dale Carter. And Tony Thompson gets a hole on the right side, cuts off a block by Poles, gets into Temple territory to the 45-yard line. Aaron Denton has to come up from free safety to make the stop. Tennessee's offensive line opened up a huge hole on the right side, running behind Antone Davis.
Well, if you stop and look at the replay, Tony Thompson gets a good hole, and the reason for that is Temple has switched to cover. They went to cover 2 that time, which would negate the quick passing game. And when you go to cover 2, the run lanes open up.
They're running a 3-4, 3-down lineman. Tennessee with Thompson again. This time he's stuffed. And July, the left side linebacker, makes the tackle for the Owls. They're the 2 mascots, Smokey and the Owl. You know why they got the Owl nickname, don't you guys? Because their students used to stay up late and burn the midnight oil back when the school was first opened in the 1800s, 1890 or so. Temple Owls. Yeah, late night. Seriously.
Who told you that, Bill Cosby?
Temple Owls. Makes sense, I guess. 2nd and 10.
We got a guy.
Safety valve. Tony Thompson's got some room to run. Great move again by Thompson. He's got a 1st down inside the 30.
Good job. Good job by Tony Thompson. Catching the ball, taking it upfield, making a little move once he gets down there in the open field. And I tell you, when Tony gets space between him and defensive players, he can be exciting to watch. Basically, that's your drop back passing. What Andy does is read 1-2, and then his option guy, the dump off guy's Tony Thompson. And like I said before, get a little space between the little quick feet and the strong and the power that he has. He can make you miss, and if you back off on your heels, he can run over you.
First down at the 30, they go to the fullback, Poles, and he is stopped right at the line of scrimmage by Santos Stevens. Stevens had 19 tackles in the Owls game against Penn State. 6'4", 220, Capitol Heights, Maryland. Coach Johnny Majors walking the sidelines. He knows this football team has had plenty of chances this year to be fighting for a national championship. They've stepped their toes a couple of times in hopes that November will be good to them this year. Kelly on the option again to Tony Thompson, to the 20, to the 15, and rolled down. Stopped by Aaron Denton.
Great block on the corner by Vince Moore.
Excellent.
He got the corner man all the way on the ground. You can see it here on the replay. That's what makes this play happen right here. The pitch, it's into a sweep. There it is. Vince has him on the ground and giving Tony the Thompson the corner, and his speed can turn it up for a big gain.
Darrell Nelson was the quarterback that got knocked down by Vince Moore. Denton made the stop, and now Tennessee's got another first down. They're rolling first downs up in this first quarter. Tony Thompson at tailback again. Not much this time. Liberty was there for the Temple Owls. Also 54 is Santos Stevens. Condridge, it looked like that's the little counter tray or a little delay cutback, and it didn't work that time.
Well, the backside, we didn't seal good on the backside on that one. And one thing that you have to realize with Andy, I noticed running the option the play before. For Andy Kelly to run the option is a wrinkle, because if they've scouted him before, he is not an option-style quarterback. That was Sterling Hinton's duty before, but him running the option is a wrinkle for him. And here we go again.
Another option play. Pitch back to Thompson. He's at the 10. Thompson
We're in there.
Is going to get close. Did he score? Yes. Touchdown, Tony Thompson. What a move by Thompson at the goal line to get in. Tennessee leads 13-0. Second touchdown of the day for Tony Thompson. Ron, that time he just used his strength, didn't he?
Well, he used some speed and some moves. He froze a couple people. He's doing a great job of going at full speed and just stopping on a dime and letting everybody run by and then pick a blocker and getting the ball. That's all Tony Thompson right there.
Greg Burton, 14-zip Tennessee with 3:38 to go in the first quarter. Condridge, this is exactly what Tennessee thought they had to do to win this game.
They couldn't have asked for anything better. This not only gets them off to a great start. Well, we got a replay here. Take a look at this. Little option play. Andy Kelly comes down, gets right in the face of the defensive end, pitches the ball. Tony has to gather it in, but watch this, folks. That's all Tony Thompson, making people stop, hesitate, and then just a great effort to get into the end zone. Great individual effort by Tony Thompson. But these last two drives are something that the Tennessee offense really needed, simply because the confidence level, and they need to do everything to focus from this game forward. And if they had anything that was going to set them back, it would be not doing well and focusing on the Alabama game, which was last week. That game's over. You've got to forget about it. You've got to play now and for the rest of the season. And I think these two drives will get them focused in that direction.
Tennessee's first scoring drive went 16 yards. This scoring drive went 7 plays, 57 yards, and Thompson capped it off with a 16-yard scoring scamper. And Tennessee leads in the game 14-0.
Another time, Vince Moore got the rover back on his back on the ground. That's what enabled him to turn the corner and get started.
Again, it's Leslie Stewart back at his goal line. Hurdles a couple of guys and is run out of bounds. But a good return from Stewart. And Temple finally gets out from the shadow of its goal line. Jeremy Lincoln knocked him out of bounds.
Well, it's the goal of the kickoff cover team to make a tackle inside the 20-yard line. And so far, Tennessee's kept them down there. This is the first time, and that's just out to the 23. So the kicking game thus far has went Tennessee's way.
Notre Dame will be in town next week, and they're struggling with Navy. That's kind of a surprise. Alabama beating up on Mississippi State early. State had that just really disheartening loss last week to Auburn, 17-16, and trying to get it back up against Alabama today. Baker hands it off to his tailback, and that's Scott McNair, a junior from Pensacola, New Jersey. who picks up yardage over the 25-yard line. Casey Rogers makes the stop for Tennessee. Let's go down to Mike Keith now. Mike?
Bob, this thing may get worse before it gets better for the Temple Owls. I was on the Owls sideline a minute ago. You've got linemen yelling at running backs yelling at linemen. There's all kinds of dissension about what's going on out there offensively. So a tough situation for Temple as they try to regroup. Their plan is to control the line of scrimmage.
That shows you right there Temple's problems. Their first possession, they had a 3rd and an inch. They just barely missed a first down. Since then, they have not been able to get anything going offensively. 2nd down and 5 yards to go. Baker going to throw it. Got his man this time. DeVinny makes the catch, the tight end. George DeVinny, 6'4", 230. And now Temple has its first down of the game. Dale Carter comes up and makes the stop. Pretty good sized tight end, Catters.
That is a big tight end. They're in the SEC. They're dinosaurs around here. People are going to the faster guys, but that play right there exemplifies what I saw in Temple this week, and that's what they can do best. And they make their running plays off of passing situations with their quarterback.
First down, Temple. Ball right at the 40-yard line. Again, Baker's going to roll out. In trouble. Throws it away, and that's caught. DeVinny, I'm not sure he even saw DeVinny, but DeVinny came up with a catch. Floyd Miley made the stop, and Temple's got back-to-back first downs by DeVinny. You know, they kept talking about, we've talked to several of the coaches about Baker. He's just got the characteristics, Ron, of a winner. I mean, he does the things you got to do to make things happen.
That's a vintage Condredge Holloway play. You get out there, the play breaks down, the initial one, scramble around, buy some time, and throw it up for somebody to be there to catch it.
So the Owls in Tennessee territory for the first time today. 1:45 to go, first quarter, Tennessee 14-0. The fullback, a couple hard yards there, he paid for it. Conrad Swanson knocked down by Kerry Bailey. Dwayne Dotson's also in there, and late a penalty flag flies. The umpire threw a flag, so we'll see what as they sort things out. Dick Beck, 68, their center, motions toward Tennessee. It'll be a dead ball foul, whatever it is. Personal foul, Tennessee. So that will give the Owls a first down. Happened well after the play.
Coach Majors is not big on these non-discipline penalties. I think somebody will get an earful for this one.
Yeah, 2 of them really cost against Alabama. Harper got one, and Jeremy Lincoln got another one against Alabama that really hurt Tennessee. That'll move the ball to the 25 now. Temple has its first legitimate scoring opportunity of the day. Drayton and Graff are slotted to this side, and Graff comes in motion. Baker to McNair, and he's got good yardage to the 22. Sean Walker makes the stop for Tennessee. McNair comes from pretty good stock. His brother Todd McNair played at Temple and is now in the National Football League with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Basic little counter play here. Of course, our linebacker stayed at home. Sean Walker stayed at home. Wasn't affected by the misdirection and made the play.
Just overran it a little bit. You want him inside out there. He just got a little outside on it, but a good play by Sean.
Temple, good yardage on first down as the first quarter's winded down. Here comes the blitz for the first time. Baker reads it and gets it out to Graff, but he will pick up just a couple of yards to the 20-yard line. Mark Fletcher rolls him down. Pickup of 2 as the first quarter winds down. 15 seconds to go. Let's see if Temple runs another play.
Defensively, that's what Tennessee will try to do. You're down there in field goal range. You try to make something happen, make a big play, push them back, try to get them away from that field goal range, besides keeping them away from a first down.
And there's the gun goes off, and the Tennessee Volunteers lead at the end of the first quarter by a score. The Volunteers 14, and the Temple Owls nothing from Neyland Stadium.
People from outside of Tennessee trying to get admitted, people from all different backgrounds. That's just a sign of how good the university is.
I would want to go to school with people from outside the state that want to come in, from Alaska and Hawaii and North Carolina and Virginia. And I have family in Virginia. I have a younger sister and a younger brother. And I talked to them about UT. I think UT is as good as UVA. We don't have a polo team, but we don't need it, you know.
Here's some of the young fans here at Neyland Stadium. The crowd today, 93,898. 93898 on just a beautiful day for football in East Tennessee. There's the scene from Neyland Stadium. The checkerboard end zones, and Tennessee leading on the scoreboard 14-0. Conrad, just talk about the first quarter. I mean, Tennessee's offense did what it had to do. Tennessee's defense really Temple is doing a lot of things now in this possession to move the football.
Well, what the offense did was basically come out and reestablish their prowess. I think that the offensive linemen had to make a stand. They had to go out and take charge, because when the ball gets inside of the 10, that is their area. They have to show that they're strong enough to get the ball in. I think what Temple tried to do the first quarter was something that's non-characteristic of them. They tried to establish a running game. Their running game is off of the drop back pass and their quarterback scrambling.
First play of the second quarter, Temple again with a 3rd down and 5 at the Tennessee 20. Baker, he's got room to run up the middle. He dumps it off to Deviney, the tight end, and he's going to be swamped for a loss. Casey Rogers is there along with Sean Walker. Baker had a seam when he dropped back. The middle opened up, but he didn't take it, and then by that time Tennessee's defense recovered.
Here it is on the replay. Vinny's first receiver was covered. He started scrambling. Mark Moore gets him by the leg. There you can see his ability, though. Even going down, he finds his tight end trying to make something happen. That's what makes him so dangerous, is he never gives up on a play until it's over.
Bob Wright now comes on to try a field goal for Temple. This will be a 41-yard attempt. And the kick is good. He's now 3 of 3 from that range, and the Temple Owls are on the board. 14-14 to go in the second period, and Tennessee's lead has been cut to 14-3. Conrad's a good drive for Temple. I mean, that's kind of a confidence builder for him.
They have to be happy with what happened there, but I think if they go back and look at what got them there and what got them in the field goal range, it wasn't trying to establish a running game. It was Baker dropping back the pass, finding somebody, hitting him with the ball, or making something happen off of the run, off of the drop back pass. And that's the key to their running game, I think. It's making our defensive guys drop back and their quarterback drop back in a passing formation, and maybe scrambling out and making something happen, like Ronnie said.
Temple's had the ball now 10.5 minutes of this game, and Tennessee 5-19. Ron?
Well, Tennessee shot their own foot. You know, the biggest play of the drive was the personal foul that Tennessee had on theirself, hitting late, and that's something they can't afford to do. The bugaboo that hurt them against Alabama was not Alabama hurting us. It was Tennessee beating theirself. They can't afford those kind of penalties that will keep a drive alive for whoever they're playing.
That was Craig Faulkner, number 4, who dressed back, the freshman from Richmond, Kentucky, and Wright will kick it off for the Temple Owls. Tennessee leads 14-3.
You think they might try to kick this ball to Faulkner if they had a choice?
Back with him is Dale Carter back there. Carter right in the middle of the field. Faulkner on the hash mark.
I think we're right.
They're kicking it away. That's a short one. That's a no man's land too. And Temple is going to get the football.
They got it.
Temple got the ball. Everybody from Tennessee was dropping back. Nobody came up, and the ball fell in no man's land, and Temple comes up with a big play. Faulkner didn't come up.
What he should have done was step up there and call a fair catch and get up there and catch the football.
Big play by Tony Schmitz. And Temple has got the football on that bizarre short kick. And it's at the 34-yard line. I have never seen that before. Cadridge?
Well, I actually think it was a missed hit. I don't think he was trying to kick it that way. I think he just mishit it, and like Ron said, all we had to do was get up and call a fair catch and catch the ball.
Now Temple a little more zip in their step, trying to establish the running game. Sean Walker there on the stop of McNair. Yeah, there was a game, an NFL game, the Steelers. And the Broncos, but the ball was kicked long, and a guy just didn't catch it. That one was just in the middle of nowhere.
And once the ball travels 10 yards, it is a free football. And what Tennessee can do, though, they're allowed, just like a punt, to come up, call a fair catch. They can't be interfered with. They got a right to catch the football, but once it hits the ground, it's a free ball.
Big possession here for Temple if they can take advantage of the Tennessee miscue on the kick. And Baker going to work, throwing long, and he misses his receiver out there. Sam Jenkins came out of the backfield, and the pass was just a little bit long. Dale Carter was there. Ernest Field also dropping back from his linebacking spot. Fields is having a terrific year, leads the team in tackles.
Just as you brag about the punt return team, another facet of the kicking game lets you down. The kickoff return, that's just inexcusable. It's such a big change in the momentum. Tennessee's got to correct it.
Harlan Davis now comes in for Tennessee as a defensive back. He's also a wide receiver, so Tennessee has 5 defensive backs in there. Big play for Temple. Little quick screen. Drake. Nowhere to go. Jeremy Lincoln, a great job one-on-one. Drayton, a very dangerous receiver, leads the team with 30 receptions. At that time, just couldn't get away from Lincoln.
Lincoln did a super job there. Number one, getting up, forcing the play. The lineman was pulling down the line to try to knock him off. He not only takes him on, but forces the runner to turn it inside, bounce back outside into his arms for a tackle.
It would be about a 47, 48-yard field goal, so Temple decides they're going to go for it. And now Tennessee's going to ask for a timeout. I think Tennessee only has 10 players out.
Well, they had the field goal rush team.
Right.
Offensive lineman Charles McCray was down there ready to rush the field goal, and Temple lines up to go for it.
Yep, we got caught with the wrong people on, wrong personnel.
So Tennessee has to burn their timeout, and that gives Temple a little more time to think about what they want to do here. Ron, again, this is a big time for the Tennessee defense. Temple's got a great opportunity to score. If Tennessee can shut them down, that would be a big boost.
Exactly.
Texas getting upset. Clemson might be going to the Peach Bowl. They're winning. Tennessee fans will keep an eye on that Notre Dame game. Of course, a couple of big games later on today. Georgia Tech and Virginia, and also Colorado, Nebraska. And the big game in the conference tonight will be Auburn and Florida. And Tennessee, of course, wants to win impressively today. They still have their sights set on a major bowl, and here are the representatives at today's game. Looking at the Volunteers, the Gator Bowl, the Hall of Fame, Citrus, Fiesta Bowl, Copper, and Holiday. And, of course, Tennessee could still win or tie for the SEC championship. Could wind up in the Sugar Bowl. A lot of that has to do, though, Condridge, with beating Notre Dame and then having Auburn lose at least one game, maybe two.
Well, we do need a little help, but I think we should think about taking care of our own and starting with this game, win impressively, and then going from there. But the SEC race is just, it's in our hands with a little help from somebody else.
This game today by no means is a lock. Temple, 4th down 5. Baker overshoots his man, and it's intercepted by Mark Fletcher. Fletcher is bringing the ball back to the 17-yard line. Mark Fletcher with Tennessee's 16th interception of the year, his 3rd, and Tennessee's defense has kept Temple out of the end zone again. Brian Krilikowski makes the stop for Temple.
Here it is. Tennessee's got their corners rolled up in the flats, their safeties deep. They run a pattern with the tight end against the linebackers down the field. Fletcher just reacts back, comes up, makes a good play on 4th down, except if he knocks the ball down, it comes back to the line of scrimmage.
And now we get a penalty, and it's backed up even more. But it's hard to tell, kid.
Don't go for it.
Yeah, as you practice Oski drills and as much as Coach Majors emphasizes, when the ball's in there, go get it. But you've got to use your head sometimes, too, and that was 4th down, and we basically lost 15, 20 yards there on the interception.
Well, with the penalty, even more than that.
Right.
Tennessee now backed up to the 4-yard line. Of course, I'm sure Fletcher thought he could take it back all the way, and that's why he did it. You always got to think that. That's Greg Amsler. Just noses it out for about 3 yards as Greg Angeli makes the stop for Temple. Mike Keese on the sidelines. Mike?
Bob, you might have noticed that Tennessee did not have Mark Moore or Kerry Bailey in on the last series. Nothing to worry about, though. Moore's mainly getting a rest while Bailey was having an equipment change. Shazan Bradley and J.J. Surlis do the job. And if you notice in the Tennessee backfield right now, you'll see Clemens McCroskey, who missed the first 4 games of this year.
McCroskey, the standing tailback. They used Amsler a minute ago, and McCroskey now gets to carry here. Darts outside. Nice tackle in the open field, though.
Clemens McCroskey is a load. I'm telling you, this is a big man that can run very fast, and we're going to see some exciting things from him.
Chris Miner makes the stop, and he's shaken up on the play a little bit.
He's shaking up because Clemens McCroskey runs right over him. Watch this. DB doesn't have a chance. We're talking about a guy that weighs about 230, and it has 4.5 speed, so it's a scary feeling for a 185-pound defensive back to come up and face that.
He's actually listed at 235.
Is he really?
He darts outside this time, and let's see. He had to get to the 15-yard line. He's going to be close. He got stuck that time himself by Mark Ellis. And then Jelly, the linebacker, also came up. They're going to measure. That's a first down. McCroskey gets the first down.
Tennessee's offense really needs a long drive. Last year's team was epitomized by 80, 90-yard drives that consumed time, ate up the clock, no penalties, no turnovers, and they haven't been able to do that lately of this year. They've scored on big plays, but they haven't had a long, sustained drive to take advantage of the clock.
11:38 to go. Quick screen to Vince Moore. Temple defends that one very, very well. And Jelly came up to make the stop. Also, Gary Mobley, the cornerback on this side, came over. So the play is going to be basically for maybe a yard, 2 yards out to the 17-yard line. And Tennessee will have it there. The Volunteers lead 14-3. Second quarter at Neyland Stadium. Glad you're with us today on Video Seat.
The quick game is much better when they're not in cover 2 and they don't have that many people up in the guys' faces. It's much better when they're in a different coverage. We got a big play
the streak
here.
Across
Good
the middle.
play.
Vince Moore is wide open. Moore to midfield and rolled down in Tennessee's and Temple territory. Play fake, and Mark Ellis finally stops Vince Moore.
Excellent read, excellent throw. And as I said in the pregame show, Andy Kelly being in that love-hate position, they love him now.
Throw the ball down the middle of the field.
That's right. They slid it there good and found the receiver coming across. It's just a great play. It should boost Andy's confidence. And maybe he'll air one out now. We'll go deep on it.
36 yards on Vince Moore's reception. And now they're going to work with McCroskey, trying to get outside. Breaks a tackle, but then is knocked down by Constantos, the big nose tackle for Temple. 6'4", 265. They've got some size and strength across that front. Swift is 6'4", 270. Constantos, 6'4", 265. And Kenyatta Rush, 6'4", 250.
A good reason nobody's really ran the ball on them straight down the field all year long. They can do a good job with their size and strength to stop the run.
And also 86 on this near side, the down lineman, the end, James Harris, is a very versatile player, and he's their best pass rusher. Drops off this time, and Kelly's got a man wide open, Faulkner. Faulkner fumbles the football. It's free and picked up. You can't advance it. But Tavio Henson was Johnny on the spot to get it. Mobley is the guy who knocked it free, and Tavio Henson was there to pick it up.
It's just a little drop back pass. It's a little underneath hitch pass, which is part of the quick game. And defensive back actually does a pretty good. No, he gets that ball knocked out.
Yeah.
Tavio makes an alert play by picking it up. And he makes the best out of a pretty bad situation. I hope he's not injured too bad. He looked like he was limping there on the sideline.
Yeah, he's down on the bench. There's Tavio right there. James Harris, 86, is the guy who knocked the ball free. 24-yard line for Tennessee now, 1st and 10.
6. It's a checkoff. Andy's checking off.
Tony Thompson back in the game. Thompson breaks the tackle. Gets a block. Thompson to the 3-yard line.
That was a great checkoff by Andy Kelly. You can hear that one through our monitors down on the field. He checked off the 6 gap, and he saw something in the defense. I think they're playing cover 2, and as I mentioned before, when you play cover 2, trying to stop the quick game and stop the passing game, you got to give up some running lanes. And what Andy did, I'm pretty sure they had a passing play call. He saw the cover 2. He checked the 6 gap. Tony Thompson did the rest.
21 yards for Tony Thompson, who is having a big first half. 66 yards right now for Tony Thompson on 9 carries. An official's timeout has been asked for as they set the change. Tennessee will have it Now 1st and goal at the 3-yard line.
This is where the offensive line has to take charge and just command it. We're going to run the ball in, and we're going to knock these people back.
Tony Thompson powers down to the goal line, but not in. Thompson looking for his 3rd touchdown of the day.
Ron, this might be one of those drives over 50 yards that we've been talking about.
Done a great job of it. They started out on, what, the 4-yard line after the penalty? It was down inside the 10, and they've ate the clock up. They mixed the pass and the run very well.
This will be the 10th play of the drive that started at the 4-yard line. Under 9 minutes to go, 2nd quarter. Tennessee 14-3 in front, looking for more. Thompson is the tailback. Roland Poles gets the ball and scores. Touchdown Tennessee. Roland Poles, his 2nd TD of the year.
That was a great drive and a great execution there by the offensive line and a great checkoff by Andy Kelly. One thing this drive does, not only did it eat up a lot of time and put a drive over 50 yards in the book of the offensive coordinator, but what it did was put less emphasis on that 4th down interception. It'll make it a coaching point now and not necessarily a negative aspect of the game. They can coach you through it and say, well, in this situation next time, don't do that.
And the highlight of the whole drive, I think, is the decisions that Andy Kelly made. The checkoffs at the line, the good job throwing the ball where the man was open, that's going to help his confidence more than anything.
This drive amplifies exactly what Andy Kelly does when he's on top of his game. He gets the ball to other people, executes, recognizes defenses, and makes a checkoff when it's possible and when it's necessary. And that's what he does best. You don't want Andy Kelly to get into a situation where he has to become an athlete or run around and buy time and do other things. He has to be able to set up, throw the ball on time, make proper decisions, and make proper checkoffs. That's when Andy Kelly is at his best.
Tennessee leads 21-3. Here's Roland Poles' touchdown. This is his 1st TD this year, 2nd TD of his career. And he just goes over the top.
Right there's a load, too.
Well, I tell you, Roland, it's amazing. I mean, it's so great for him to get a touchdown, but this guy loves to block. I mean, he gets excited about blocking and knocking people down. They have a chart over there that has hostile hits, and almost every week, Roland Poles' name is on it, and that's what he just enjoys. And I guess the icing on the cake would be a big fullback like that scored a touchdown.
Greg Burke now has 3 point-afters today, which breaks Alan Duncan's record of consecutive PATs with 67. This year, Burke is now 31 of 31 in point-afters. Chapman to kick it off. Another short kick that'll be gathered in by Temple's Chris Minor again. Minor breaks a couple of tackles, knocked down at the 29-yard line. And again, Tracy Smith came up, Jeremy Lincoln there. There's the scoring drive, very well executed, 96 yards, longest scoring drive of the season for Tennessee. And it only ate up 4.5 minutes of the clock. And I don't remember any penalties in the drive, so it was all Tennessee.
It was all Tennessee, and you said only ate up 4.5 minutes, but I tell you what, that's pretty impressive.
For a drive that long, though, 4.5 minutes isn't really that much, I don't think. 8.5 to go in the 2nd quarter. Temple 21-3 deficit. And the Owls have got to get something going right now. Baker trying to make it happen, flips it out to his fullback, Swanson. Swanson breaks a couple of tackles. He's a tough kid and bulls his way out close to the 40. J.J. Surlis there to make the stop for Tennessee. Again, Surlis is in there. Mark Moore and Kerry Bailey are on the Tennessee bench still, as Surlis getting a chance to play a little bit. Also Todd Kelly in there for Tennessee.
Well, it's unseasonably warm this time of year to be playing football, and I think Coach Majors realizes that. He's wanting to roll some players in there, keep them fresh. I don't think Kerry or Mark, either one, are hurt. I just think they're getting some rotation in and getting the younger guys a chance to play some.
That's one thing that was discussed this week in the meetings. Substitution. You have to play the substitution game and do it to perfection, because when you get into November and you get people hurt and you're starting to play the meat of your ending of your season, you have to rotate your players so that the 4th quarter, when the 4th quarter comes, you've got fresh people. And I think that's something that we're trying to manage a little better now, because we didn't do that great a job of it in earlier games.
1st and 10, Temple at its own 40-yard line. They took the run away from Baker, but he scrambles out. Baker's going to get to midfield into Tennessee territory and a first down. Todd Kelly, Chris Mims, and Sean Walker there to make the stop.
This is where Baker is so dangerous. Rolling out, the play's not there, but he can improvise and make a big play out of it. Watch him.
They had him sealed up pretty good, Ron. And then he just breaks containment. Mims runs him down after he scrambles for 12 yards. And Baker now with 24 yards on the day.
He is the big play man of the Temple offensive team. Everything goes on him.
And now Baker doesn't like what he sees from Tennessee's defense and asks for and receives a timeout. The Temples use their first timeout. 7:27 to go in the second quarter, and Tennessee leads the Owls 21-3. Tennessee, of course, in the middle of their big November push, and they've got some very important games coming up. Notre Dame will be here next week. There's Tennessee's first 7 games. They lost Alabama, of course, the one glaring note is Tennessee lost 9-6. But November has been a great month for Tennessee, and these are the games remaining in November. Notre Dame next week, Ole Miss at Memphis in a key SEC matchup, and then the Volunteers play Kentucky here, and then close out the year against Vanderbilt on December the 1st in Nashville. Ron, a lot of good things can still happen for Tennessee, but they've got to win.
Well, I had an opportunity to talk to Rob Jones, the scout from the Fiesta Bowl, this morning before the game, and he is very much interested in getting the Tennessee team out there to the Fiesta Bowl. He said they've never had them. Of course, it will depend on their destiny being in their own hands. Tennessee winning today, doing a good job next week against Notre Dame, winning that ball game. But there's still some major bowls that have Tennessee high on their list of priorities, and a chance for them to be playing on New Year's Day.
Louisville in the top 25. It seems Tennessee opens the season with next year. Howard Snellenberger building the Cardinals up. 1st and 10, Temple. Swanson, the fullback's got running room up the middle, and J.J. Surlis makes the tackle along with Sean Walker. Swanson, a guy who was out all of last year with a knee injury. He's one of the 8 junior college players from Arizona on this Temple team. He has bounced back very strong, 6'1", 190. Also a good receiver. He's now caught 18 passes this year. Gets good yardage on 1st and 10. It's 2nd and 3 now for the Owls. They're in Tennessee territory. McNair short of the first down. Shazan Bradley, 40 now in for Tennessee. And down at the bottom of the stack is Todd Kelly again and Sean Walker. Ron, Sean Walker, it's amazing how much he's around the football.
Well, all 3 Tennessee linebackers, not only Sean in particular, but with the stack kind of defense that Coach Larry Lace will run, he gets them off the ball. The defensive line is geared to keep an offensive lineman from getting to him. And the job they do at the size that they are, they're not really big, strong, physical kind of linebackers, but they do a great job of running and getting to the football.
Walker now has 3 tackles today for Tennessee. 3rd and less than a yard for Temple. Swanson bulls his way close to the first down. Stacked up right in the middle. Todd Kelly was there, 58. Hardy, Shazan Bradley, Surlis at the bottom of the stack. And they're going to measure again.
You know, this is the going on the 10th quarter that Tennessee's defense hadn't given up a touchdown. They're taking a lot of pride in those goose eggs. They're really wanting to keep that record going, and talking to some of the defensive players this week, they want to prove that each game by game this year they're getting better and they're playing better. And of course today's the next one going.
I'll tell you what, Temple has not had the benefit of some spots today. They have been just short on about 3 measurements now. They had a 4th down on the pass that was intercepted by Darryl Hardy. That was 4th and 5. They had a 4th down they didn't make earlier.
They'll go for this one though,
because they had to punt the ball. So now Temple will line it up. Down 21-3. Total yards, Tennessee dominating, but Temple's had the ball a long time in this game. 5:58 to go. Second period, Tennessee on top, 21-3. Another great crowd on hand, 93,000 today to watch Tennessee and Temple.
They're doing the wave to get the Tennessee defense up to make a big 4th down play.
This is a big play for the Temple Owls as well. Swanson's the tailback. They got him 7 yards deep to get a head start. They fumbled it. I think they got the first down.
I don't know.
2 flags.
If we didn't line up off sides.
Well, we'll see. The flag came from both sides of the field. The line judge and our referee did it.
I think we lined up.
Yep.
That's giving it to him the easy way.
I'm not so sure, though, Baker, when he picked the ball. Now there's another penalty flag down. That was another late flag. Now they're pointing at Temple on the dead ball, perhaps.
I think they got a unsportsmanlike conduct, which is going to just kill them. It's a discipline type thing, and if you just got to hold your poise, because the second guy always gets caught, and we all know that.
Well, that one was thrown well after the marking of the...
Eric Warren, big 65, the senior right tackle for Temple, looked like he got in a little extracurricular activity way late on that play.
Well, it's a dead ball foul, though, so they mark the penalty off, and then they're penalized, so it should still be a first down. Let's see if they mark off here's the dead ball foul, and now they'll push the ball back, but it'll be a first down and 25. So Temple gets a break of sorts because it was a dead ball foul, but they're now going to be stacked up with a first down and a long, long way to go. First and 25. So both teams have gotten an unsportsmanlike or personal foul penalty. And now Baker brings his troops back out. Instead of being deep in Tennessee territory at the 34, he's back out near midfield at the 49. 5.5 minutes to go. Sean Walker late getting back into the Tennessee scheme of things. Now he's set at middle linebacker, and Temple goes to work. Baker got a man open and overshoots him. DeVinny was wide open. Tennessee bought the fake. The pass was late. Now a late personal foul penalty has also been dropped way across the field. They're pointing at Shazan Bradley.
Always the guy that's standing there with his hands up in the air like, who, me, is the one that's caught.
Temple's got 5 first downs in the game, but 2 of those by penalties, and there's the personal foul on Tennessee, and now it's on, was it Bradley or J.J. Surlis?
Mark Moore's taking Shazan's place, so I think
it was Shazan. I thought it was Shazan, too. They pointed right at him. Brian Irwin and Shazan got tangled up, so that's a personal foul, automatic first down. So Tennessee has let him out of the hole. Mike Keith's on the sideline.
What's happened, Bob? Eric Warren hit Shazan Bradley with a right cross in the chin and was ejected. Then Bradley's gotten into it again and has been thrown out. There's a problem for Tennessee, though. Mark Moore has an injured ankle. He did it 4 plays ago. He's having to go back in there hurt.
So Moore playing left tackle. Bradley, we've been told, Mike says, has been thrown out of the game. Hornbaker is open and gets it. Hornbaker knocked out of bounds by Dale Carter, but Temple knocking on the door as they're inside the Tennessee 15-yard line. Hornbaker, 6'1", 195, a senior from Alpha, New Jersey. He's their possession, good hands receiver. And that time he just finds the seam, and Carter rattles him out of bounds. Shazan Bradley, if you remember last year, got into a scuffle in the LSU game. And a costly penalty. Bradley, we've been told, has been tossed out of this game. Tennessee jumps, but they're onside. The pass is complete to Graff, but he won't get much. Miley and Dale Carter come up to knock him back after a pickup of about 3 yards. Floyd Miley, 5'10" junior from Fort Lauderdale, playing with a lot of confidence this year, Ron.
He's doing a great job. Stepped in there and picked up Coach Keene's system with Coach Laceville. Really had a new berth with the new defensive staff and got a chance to prove himself all over again. Made the most of it. And has been a starter every game this year and gotten increasingly better.
Temple now, again, faced with some critical calls. Second down, 8 yards to go at the Tennessee 10.
Comes the blitz.
Temple picks it up. There's a fade pattern to Drayton. Touchdown, Temple. Bill Drayton on the fade pattern. Came to the inside of the post and then drifted to the outside, and Baker hit him right in stride as Temple has scored its first touchdown, and the Owls now make it 21-9 with the extra point coming up. Drayton's first touchdown catch of the year, his 32nd reception, and a great pass by Matt Baker.
Tennessee came with the blitz, put the pressure on. Baker did a great job of getting the ball off, laying it up there, letting the receiver come under it, and making a good catch.
Bob Wright on for the extra point. And that's right down the middle, and Tennessee now has seen Temple score its first touchdown. Tennessee's lead is 11 with 4:20 to go in the second period. Condridge, this has got to give these Owls a lot of confidence.
It sure does. Here's a replay. I think what happened, we got caught in a switch situation, and quarterback does a great job. Baker does a great job of anticipating and throwing the ball early, so the blitz couldn't get to him, and the receiver just ran under it and made a good play. It's got to bring confidence up tremendously for them, but still we got to go back to our involvement, Tennessee's involvement of making penalties and giving second opportunity to Temple. I mean, when you get somebody down like that, you can't give them rebirth by making silly mistakes, and we can't get into a penalty factor with these guys because we just, we're not at the point of our game that we're that good yet. I mean, we can't afford to beat ourselves and give away field position with penalties.
And too costly, one an offside penalty, and then the 15-yard personal foul penalty gave Temple new life, and the Owls took advantage of it. 4:20 to go, second quarter. Tennessee 21, Temple 10. Tennessee ranked 11th in one poll, 10th in the other.
This is going to be a big series for Tennessee. They've got to retaliate from what just happened. I mean, Temple took advantage of Tennessee mistakes, made a touchdown. Tennessee now has to take the kickoff and drive the ball down and score, or at least make some kind of field position change. If not, Temple has the momentum again.
Bob Wright to kick off. The Tennessee deep people now are at the 15-yard line because Wright just has not kicked the ball deep at all. And now Carter has drifted up to the 17-yard line. And here's Wright's kick, another short one. Faulkner will get it. He'll drift back to the 8-yard line. Craig Faulkner looking for a seam. Gets to the 30-yard line. Fine return. David Jones makes another stop on the Temple special team. And Tennessee's got good field position at the 30-yard line. There's the scoring play. They used 4:19 on the clock in the pass to Drayton for 10 yards for the TD. Arnold Zandy, the longtime hot dog seller. He's run for mayor, about 6 times in Knoxville, I think. He's probably sold, like McDonald's, you talk about the hamburgers they sold. I think Arnold's probably sold 1 million hot dogs here.
He was recognized at the gala last night as well as the players.
He should be. Kelly, Tennessee back to the running attack, and nothing going on. And Jelly makes the stop, 98.
That was another checkoff. Temple lined up in cover 2, and cover 2 allows you running lanes. Andy checked off and just didn't get enough surge on the backside that time, but it's a proper play for the quarterback to check off into that situation, so Andy did what he was supposed to do.
Tracy Smith is into the lineup now. Tracy Smith, a former defensive back, converted tailback. McCroskey, of course, is banged up a little bit with a hamstring. So Smith get a chance to play it. Kelly throws long for Pickens, and the pass is going to be caught by Pickens. He escapes down to the 10-yard line, still on his feet at the 8. What a grab by Pickens. He goes up between 2 Temple players. The ball looked like it popped free for a second as Pickens hangs on for a great catch. 59 yards for Carl Pickens.
Nice play action fake by Andy. Ball's a little bit underthrown, but Carl Pickens makes a great effort right here. Watch this, folks. Goes up between over 1, gets hit in the process, and then has the presence of mind to start be a runner after he gets the ball.
Yeah, Mobley was running with him man for man, and then Schmitz, 26, came over. Schmitz, I think, was surprised the ball popped up. Here's the option again for Tennessee.
Touchdown.
Tracy Smith to the 3. Penalty flag goes down.
I hope we don't get a holding penalty here, but it looks like it.
Tracy Smith getting a chance to play a tailback. They're pointing at Temple. Let's see. Holding, though. You're right, Condridge. Let's go down to Mike Keith. Mike?
Bob, some good news from the Tennessee bench. Our information leads us to believe that Shazan Bradley has not been ejected from this ball game. I think Eric Warren for Temple was thrown out, but Shazan Bradley apparently not. They're checking Mark Moore's ankle. It does appear as though he could have a problem. And Tavio Henson will miss the rest of the day with an injury to his left knee. They don't know the severity of it at this time.
All right, Mike. Thanks very much.
Tennessee thin at running back.
Also thin at defensive tackle. Jeff Tullis is due to have orthoscopic surgery this week, so he is out. And now Shazan Bradley, whether or not he's been thrown out or not, we'll see if he comes in next series. Tennessee now was backed up 5 yards, and Kelly to throw. Completes the pass to his fullback. Roland Poles breaks a tackle.
Touchdown.
Roland Poles scores for Tennessee.
I tell you, the big guy's having a field day today. We got a penalty flag. I think we might have one here.
Yep, it's back about the 12-yard line. Let's sort this one out.
There's a big truck with wheels running loose down there.
Another holding penalty for Tennessee. Well, on Tony Thompson's first touchdown, there was a penalty flag down. That one was on Temple. Now they're going to call this one back, and it's a clip against Tennessee. So scratch the touchdown for Poles. That would have been his second of the day. Now move it back. 15. There's Roland. Good look at him. Tough kid. 6 foot, 241. Senior from Caledonia, New York. Tennessee really has two fine fullbacks. And let's watch the backfield, Conrad, see if we can find the clip.
I think they called it on Von Reeves.
Right. Man, maybe that's Baird right there that gets it. That's close. On James Harris is the guy who's trying to block. That apparently was it. Doug Baird on Harris.
If that was it, that was a mistake.
Long possession now for Tennessee. Harper across the middle. Wrestles his way down to the 22-yard line. Clock is down to 2:26. Tennessee 21, Temple 10. Eric Fenwick makes the stop for Temple, and Harper's a bit rattled. Harper took a shot from the backside.
I think Mr. Harper was trying to get a little more out of this and cut back into pursuit. Got hit right on the helmet.
Yeah, Fenwick stuck him.
Not his favorite place to go with the football.
No. That's the old ear hole shot right there.
That's it.
What area code are you in?
And Kelly's going to take another timeout, his second timeout of the day. Here's some scores. Notre Dame has jumped in front of Navy now. Michigan trying to stay in the Big Ten race, leading against Purdue. Purdue's having a rough year. Interesting game tonight, guys. Let's talk about Auburn and Florida a little bit. Many people think that Florida can win that game tonight, but I don't know. Auburn's defense is so good.
And talking to Dale Jones at the gala last night, he is an assistant coach down at Florida, and he felt like that the team had a great week of practice, that they had a good game plan going in, and that they had an excellent chance of winning the ball game.
I really think they do also. I think their passing game is going to give Auburn's secondary a great challenge, and it's whether or not they can meet the challenge as to whether or not they'll win or not. I really think that is one of the keys.
There's a good look at Andy Kelly. Kelly went home last Friday. Of course, Tennessee had the open date. He went home after practice and went to a high school football game. I think he went to see Ray County play, his old high school team, and came down with a horrible case of the flu. Went home. His mom nursed him Friday night, Saturday, all day Sunday. And then he came back to school on Monday, didn't practice, was back out there on Tuesday, and has practiced well this week. Kelly, 8 of 11 for 149 yards. Second down and goal from the 22. Kelly hands off to Poles, breaks a couple of tackles, and is knocked down at the 17-yard line. Mark Ellis comes up to make the stop. Swift Birch hitting first. Kelly now has completed 7 passes in a row, and a Temple player is down.
Poles just makes a pile of people wherever he goes.
He makes them move, too.
He hits them, and they get down, and you have to pick them up with a sponge.
Here's the option look, but they give the ball to Poles, and he pops right through there, and once he gets to the pile moves, and it usually moves forward because Roland is an aggressive, powerful running back.
Roland's a man. He's 24 years old.
Well, that's true. That's true. He's been around for a while. From Caledonia, New York, he knows all about the cold weather and the tough grind, and tell you, he's any of those guys that really just get into blocking. You have to like those guys. I mean, he doesn't get to carry the ball much, but he loves what he can do, blocking and knocking people down. He gets excited about that.
Santos Stevens is the Temple player that is shaken up and on the field they're attending to. He's their terrific linebacker, number 54. If he can't play, they've got some really depth problems behind him, because their other linebacker on the inside, Tim Hole, he's been slowed down with various nicks and bruises, and they just don't have a lot of depth behind those guys. And I guess that's one of the things about a football team that's building like Temple. Depth is a problem, especially in November.
Well, that's one reason they went so hard into the junior college route and brought in 11 kids the first year there, and 8 of them were, what was it, Bob, from Arizona, I believe?
Yeah, from Arizona.
And that's what you got to do, just like Tennessee. The defensive team for the Volunteers was severely lacking in depth in a lot of positions, and they sent Coach Sells out to hit the junior college route and brought in a lot of good players that are stars on the defensive unit now.
Texas still trailing Texas Tech. That would be a huge upset right there. As Texas trying to go to the Cotton Bowl. Michigan widening out things on Purdue a bit. So Kelly now ready to go back to work. Tavio Henson, we are told, is up and walking on the sideline. It's not known whether he'll be back, though. He's got a bit of a knee injury. Tennessee has used 4 tailbacks today. And Poles now is in there as the only running back and fullback. 3rd down. There's the fade pattern in the end zone, and that is going to be no good. Pickens was there, couldn't catch it. Great defensive play by Kyle Glasper on the fade pattern to Carl Pickens.
That was a great defensive play. Andy put the ball up, gives Carl a chance, and when you do that, you got better than average chance. He actually gets it. The DB just strips it from him. He almost catches it on the rebound, didn't he? But he's out of bounds.
It was Ron Bruce that really knocked the ball free, and not Glasper.
But that just shows you the concentration of a guy like Pickens. He had 3 chances to catch the ball and had the presence of mind to almost pull it in.
Here's Greg Burke now from 33 yards out, and that's a perfect field goal for Greg Burke, and Tennessee improves the score now to 24-10 with 1:10 to go.
Well, I tell you, that drive, we didn't get a touchdown, but what it did was answer the Temple momentum of coming down and scoring on Tennessee, and even though it wasn't a touchdown, it was still an answer, and it was a positive answer.
But on the flip side, a lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties for Tennessee.
Well, that's true, and that's something that the team has been preaching about all week. I mean, mental mistakes, penalties that kill yourself. I mean, you just can't shoot yourself in the foot.
But then again, this was the 3rd open date of the year for the Volunteers. They've had 2 weeks off. They get out of the normal routine of doing things day in and day out, and you're a little rusty after you have a week off when you're used to playing week in and week out.
Tennessee was 60 yards in penalties. You know, open dates, coaches like them because you can correct a lot of things and play. I don't think players like them very much, though.
Well, it depends. Depends on the condition of your team. If you're beat up, you've got some people banged up, they need a rest. But if you got momentum going, there's something you want to play week in and week out as long as things are good. It was a good time for Tennessee to have an open day after the loss to Alabama, but they're not as quite as sharp for the whole first half as they need to be.
Joey Chapman to kick it off for Tennessee as Andy Kelly getting critiqued on the last Tennessee drive. Short kick. Going to be taken by Minor again. He's been busy today. This is his 3rd return. Not many folks there. McCleskey one-on-one with Minor and rolls him down. Nice play.
Stayed at home. Good job by McCleskey on the coverage.
So Temple gets the ball to the 31-yard line. There's the Tennessee scoring drive, 53 yards in 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Now a Tennessee player is down on this side of the field, the near side, in front of the Tennessee bench at the 31. That's pretty much where Minor took the ball and then cut back the other way.
J.J. did a great job that time. He was the end man on the left side of the cover team, and it's his responsibility never to let the return man to get outside. Even though the majority of the coverage came over to the right-hand side of the field, he stayed at home, strung the play out, and made the tackle.
Mark Fletcher, the guy who had the earlier interception for Tennessee, they're checking with him to make sure he's all right before they help him up. He looks like he's going to be okay, and now they're going to help him to his feet. Well, he's holding that left knee up a little bit.
Mark Fletcher.
But Fletcher is a little woozy as he comes off the field.
I think he was asking Tim Caron how the crowd was taking it.
Baker now 9 of 14 through the air for 80 yards for Temple and 24 yards rushing. Temple's got time. They got to go 70 yards now with 1 minute to go, and they have 2 timeouts left. Baker back in 1988 threw 15 touchdown passes. He's got one today with Drayton, but they're going to run it. I think just be content to go in now down 2 touchdowns at halftime. As Kerry Bailey makes the stop on the tailback, Leon Brown. Clock winds down to 49 seconds in this second quarter. At halftime, the Pride of the Southland Band will be here. The all-time Tennessee teams will be recognized. Conridge Holloway will get to tip his cap for being the all-time quarterback of the Tennessee 100 Years of Volunteers. Look at that. Mom did some carving. She missed the pumpkin on that, didn't she? Got Junior's back of his head. 26 seconds to go. Clock runs. Temple's just going to run it out. Hope they can break one, but not this time. Chuck Smith makes the stop on Leon Brown, and that probably will be the last play of the first half. Tennessee watching the clock tick down to 7 seconds, and it rolls 3, 2, 1, and that's it. First half is over. Tennessee gets 3 touchdowns, 2 by Tony Thompson, 1 from Roland Poles, and a field goal from Greg Burke. And Temple gets the touchdown from Phil Drayton and a field goal from Bob Wright as the Volunteers led 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. And now Tennessee leads at halftime, 24-10, as the Volunteers head to the locker room. Tennessee trying to win its 5th game of this season and its 22nd game, really, in the month of November. Coach Johnny Majors is having a conversation with the officials as he's walking toward the Tennessee locker room. He's got 4 of them corralled over there, pleading his case, and they're not listening very much. The Tennessee Volunteers play Notre Dame next week and are leading the Temple Owls here at halftime, 24-10. Tony Thompson had a big first half for Tennessee with the 2 touchdowns. Mike Keith now has corralled Coach Johnny Majors down on the sideline. Let's go to Mike Keith.
Coach Majors, your offense more effective today, up 2 touchdowns. Talk about the first half for us.
Mike, we're doing some good things on offense. Holding on the ball, and penalties are hurting us very much. And I'm not so sure that it's our lack of disciplinaries. It's just I had to criticize the division, but this is an all-Eastern crew. I'm an advocate of not having split crews, half SEC, half Eastern. This is an all-Eastern crew. I don't believe we're that badly disciplined. And they've tackled us on 2 kickoff returns and clipped us. We've got to stop that. I am very disappointed we had 2 dead ball fouls that I don't know what's behind that, whether they're real technical against us. I'm going to put a stop to that on our part. But I think we're executing better, not stopping ourselves quite as much except those, and I don't know about those situations.
Coach Majors, was Shazon Bradley thrown out of the game?
No, he was not.
Okay.
Their man was not thrown out, and he had a 15-yard penalty. Shazon was not thrown out. I pulled him out of the ball game myself. Cool off, and I don't know. He said it was not a foul, but I don't know what to go until I see the film.
Okay. In the second half, Coach, what can we look for from your team as far as anything different on offense, more of the same, more or less?
Try to keep it mixed up. Keep building on the good things that we're doing.
Welcome back to the half here at Neyland Stadium, where the Tennessee Volunteers are leading the Temple Owls 24-10. I'm Mike Keith, joined by Tennessee basketball coach Wade Houston. I guess you're 3 weeks into practice now? How are the balls looking?
Well, we have good practices and bad practices, but for the most part, I've really enjoyed this group. They've worked extremely hard. They're a very close group, and a lot of players on this basketball team have improved their skills, so we're looking forward to getting started.
The other night in the orange and white game at Madisonville, Jay Price had 30 points to lead the white team to a 109-98 victory. Talk about his progress and the backcourt in general.
Well, Jay has done a good job for us. He's one of the players who's worked extremely hard over the summer, and Jay's play right now is a carryover, I think, from last season. He did a tremendous job against Memphis State defensively, and he also played well against Vanderbilt. So I think he's just picked it up a notch from last year, and Jay, as I said, is just one of the players who has really improved over the summer.
How about Allen? How much progress has he been able to make since his freshman season?
Allen has made a lot of progress. I've been extremely pleased with his play, particularly his quickness, his defense, his leadership ability, and he's done a good job. And I think playing against the Olympic players this summer was a big help to him.
One final question. 11 days from now, early signing period starts. What's your gut feeling on how that'll go?
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic, and I think we can do okay. We have to wait and see. You never know until you get the name on the line.
Thank you very much, Tennessee basketball coach Wade Houston, whose team opens up November 23rd at home, taking on Ron Abernathy's Tennessee State Tigers. A guy who has made his fortune in Nashville, just like Tennessee State has been Dave Loggins. You remember Please Come to Boston? Well, he's recorded a song about the Tennessee Volunteers. It's called Orange Memories.
Started in 1891. Then we cleared the land and we built the stand. And by 21 we built the pride. In 28 we crushed the tide, and the color they wore was orange. Remember, the general led for 32 years. Like a father with his sons. There was Gene and Beatty and George carrying that sword, and the color they wore was orange. Remember, there has been and there will be joy. There has been and there will be tears. It's been that way for 100 years. Win or lose, lose or win, we were there, we're here now, we'll be here then. Then the general stood by Bowden's side, after Hank and Doug and the boys went 10-0 in 51, and the championship when they were done came home to the orange. And we remember the general died in 62. We had a few declining years. But Doug brought prosperity. He put the T back in Tennessee and on the helmets of the orange. We remember there has been and there will be joy. There has been and there will be tears. It's been that way for 100 years. Win or lose or win, we were there, we're here now, and we'll be here then. And the worst defeat was in '65. When a train took 3 precious lives. Boys, it wasn't just a few, but every heart in that horseshoe bled for the orange. And for them we remember. We fill sugar and orange and cotton bowls. And the fans grew and the horseshoe closed. With battles lost and battles won, we call the 50's favorite son come home to the orange. Oh, John, we remember. There has been and there will be joy. There has been and there will be tears. It's been that way for 100 years. Win or lose or win, we were there, we're here now, we'll be here then. Started in 1891. Now ain't it hard to believe that 100 years have passed, but 100 years are gonna last in orange memories. Oh, how I love those orange memories. Oh, how I love those orange memories. Oh, how I love those orange memories.
That's Dave Loggins' Orange Memories on a beautiful sun-drenched November afternoon in Knoxville, finding the Tennessee Volunteers leading the Temple Owls 24-10. And you couldn't have a more perfect day to continue the celebration of 100 years of Volunteers. Let's take a look at the first half. Some highlights from this contest. The Tennessee Vols got off first as Andy Kelly gives the ball to Tony Thompson, who takes it on home for a touchdown. And the ball, that's Dave Loggins' Orange Memories on a beautiful sun-drenched November afternoon in Knoxville, finding the Tennessee Volunteers leading the Temple Owls 24-10. And you couldn't have a more perfect day to continue the celebration of 100 years of Volunteers. Let's take a look at the first half. Some highlights from this contest. The Tennessee Vols got off first as Andy Kelly gives the ball to Tony Thompson, who takes it on home for a touchdown, and the Vols went up 7-0. Just an easy option play, Condridge.
And what if it was a surprise, because Andy Kelly does not run the option. That's not in his repertoire. And after that, after optioning the end, he gets the ball to Tony Thompson, and the rest is just Tony Thompson's great individual effort.
And we're looking at the Ball's second score. It's Roland Poles simply going over the top.
Oh, you got to be happy for a big guy like Roland who gets to block 90% of the time, and then all of a sudden he gets to score a touchdown.
After the 15-yard personal foul penalty on Shazan Bradley, it's Baker to Drayton for a touchdown, and Tennessee's coverage just broke down, looking at a duo that we thought we'd see more of.
Well, I'll tell you what he did. He really got rid of, he released the ball very soon so the blitz could not get to him. And what he did, he just anticipated the route, and we got caught in a switch coverage, and the guy was just wide open. That's all we can say about that one.
Looking at the first half statistics, really not indicative of what's happened in the ball game in terms of total offense. Tennessee 259, Temple 131. The Owls have turned it over one time on a fumble, but here are the two big stats. Penalties. The ball 6 for 65, while Temple just went 2 for 20. And Temple had the ball 4 more minutes than the Tennessee Volunteers did. Condridge, the big thing about that with the penalties is both both Temple scores were set up by a 15-yard personal foul penalty.
They were gifts, and it's mental concentration. It's something that Coach Majors emphasizes every day in practice. The first thing about winning, to win, you have to not beat yourself, and not beating yourself includes not making mental mistakes and not having just breakdowns and penalties, and that's basically what they are, mental mistakes. Would you say, Ron?
Well, that plus Coach Majors emphasized the fact that it was an all Big East crew, and different leagues and different officials call things maybe a little bit different than each other. And maybe they're not used to Tennessee playing against Southeastern Conference officials all year long. Maybe there's some things that is going either way that they're calling the way they do in the Big East and Tennessee's not used to.
That could be.
Tennessee leads by 2 touchdowns now as we get set for the second half kickoff. Andy Kelly had a good first half, not brilliant, but good and steady. 8 of 12, 150 yards for Andy Kelly. No interceptions. Here's Notre Dame. They're in town next week and leading right now in the third quarter. Notre Dame on top, 31-10. Florida State beating up on South Carolina. And Texas has come back against Texas Tech, but the Longhorns having problems with the Red Raiders. Clemson beating North Carolina. Michigan, after struggling early, now leads comfortably against Purdue. That's still in the second quarter. Penn State got some touchdowns this week. Last week they beat Alabama on field goals. Louisville, I tell you what, they're a building team, and they're leading the Bearcats 31-10. There's the halftime score of Alabama and Mississippi State. Alabama still has a shot at getting in a decent bowl game if they can run off some wins here in November. I guess their big thing is they're going to have to beat Auburn, I think, to have a shot at a big-time bowl. Temple will kick it off. Tennessee will get it first, and again, the Tennessee return people, Dale Carter and Faulkner, are standing about the 10-yard line. As Temple has just not either. They are kicking it by design, or Wright just didn't have a strong leg, Connor.
Well, the one that they recovered, I thought, was just a miss hit. I thought he was trying to kick it deeper and just miss-hit the thing and hit it short. But, yeah, now that's more like it. Now
yeah, Wright drills that one. Faulkner, nice catch at the 5.
That was a great catch.
Nice move. He's got speed to the outside and gets nailed. Oh, Glasper stuck him right in the face. How you do? Good day. Where am I? 31 yards by Faulkner, but he paid for that one. What a stick.
Well, this is a great return. He visualizes the field very well and cuts back, and he has enough speed to outrun this contained man, but I think he's a little indecisive here. And he paid for it. He paid for being indecisive on that one.
Ron, I guess defensive players, they could wait months for a shot like Glasper just had.
Anytime you get a guy broke down and trying to change direction, you get a free shot at him. That's what you lick in your chops and be glad to have.
That Tennessee starts now at its own 37-yard line, 1st and 10.
We got a check off here.
Tony Thompson starts at tailback, right up the middle. Ran right behind John Fisher as center. And picks up about 4-5 on the play. Tim Hole there, number 90, 6'2", senior out of Glendale, California. Another one of those junior college players. Thompson trying to get to 100 yards.
Another checkoff against cover 2, and that's in the game plan this week, so Andy made a great decision.
Thompson now at 72 yards on the day. Quick screen. Alvin Harper.
There we go.
There's the speed finally coming into play. And the defensive tackle, Swift Birch, finally comes up and makes the stop along with Tony Schmitz. That's strong safety.
That's exactly the situation that the Tennessee offense wants to get themselves into. Here it is, Alvin Harper. It's just a quick little hit, but you get the ball into great athlete's hands, and watch this. Number 7 grabs for air. Thank you. That was a good move by
He better go back there and find something. He left that on the field. I don't know where it is, but he left it.
When that happens, just be glad it's not on national television.
Second reception of the day for Harper. He's got 21 now on the season. Kelly, same play, almost other side to Pickens, and he's going to be wrapped out of bounds. Let's see if they throw a flag. Pickens was wrestled down by Gary Mobley, but the official keeps the flag in the pocket.
We can force this Temple defense into cover 2 by continuing to do things like that.
Now explain cover 2 to the folks that don't know.
Cover 2 is 2 men on top and 5 underneath. And what you're trying to do is basically eliminate the quick game. You put more people underneath than you do on top of the coverage. And when you do that, you open up holes for the running game, and that's what Andy's doing when he gets cover 2. He's checking off to a running play.
Thompson at tailback, going for 100 yards, and there he goes up the middle, picks his way. Good hard running by Tony Thompson, close to a first down. Stopped by Schmitz again. Tony has had some big games. He's got 82 yards right now. He's second in the conference in rushing behind Harvey Williams. He's averaging 6.2 yards per carry. And now they're going to ask for the football, and they're going to remark it. Johnny Majors would love to get a touchdown here early. That would really open things up. Thompson's best game this year, 248 yards against Mississippi State. And he also had 100 yards against Florida, 103. Here's another checkoff, Condridge. And the running play to Tony Thompson gets a hole. Gets inside the 15 to the 12-yard line. Santos Stevens back into the game. Mark Ellis and Schmitz make the stop, 15 yards for Tony Thompson. That puts him right at 100 almost. 96 for Thompson.
Little counter play, and that's when Andy Kelly is at best at his game. That's what he's best at doing. Recognizing situations, getting the team in the proper play, and getting the ball quickly to his wide receivers and letting them be athletes and make plays.
Now it's Antone Davis who opened the hole for Tony Thompson. 96 yards on the day. Burt's jump got back. Here goes Thompson again. Not much there this time. Thompson running behind Charles McCray. Greg Angeli makes the stop for the Temple Owls. It's to the 10-yard line now. That was a first down play, so it's second down. Needs about 9.
Tell you, they've run that play twice, and I've watched Andy Kelly both times. The Temple defensive end better stay at home, because if not, Andy's going to keep that ball one of these times, and he's going to walk into the end zone.
Second down. Here's the reverse to Vince Moore. Ford at the 10. Out of bounds at the 6.
Vince Moore on the reverse.
Ran it to the short side of the field that time, and it might have hampered the play a little bit because they had the sideline working against them.
Condrington, why do you run the play to the short side?
Well,
and they love to run this play.
I think what I just said before was very evident. That the defensive end to the side of the lead play has been really, they call it shooting down, shooting the gap, trying to make the play when his responsibility is to stay deep as the deepest man in the backfield, and he was cheating a little bit, so they attacked the same area just with a different guy. Instead of the quarterback bootlegging it, they went with the reverse.
And again, Kelly sees something in the Temple defense he doesn't like and takes a timeout. This really is a very key drive for Tennessee, Connors. You don't want to make mistakes here. You want to score a touchdown because you could put this game out of reach almost.
Well, I think one thing that I can remember from the Bill Battle days, this part of the game is very essential towards winning. Beginning of the second half, it's how you come out and how you set the tempo. Usually lasts you into the fourth quarter, and Ron probably can explain that a little more. But the Battle really emphasized that, didn't he?
First drive, the first 5 minutes of the second half, it was always imperative for us to come in at halftime when I was playing, when any team plays. They make adjustments to do what they want to do for the second half of the ball game. When you come out the second half, you either take charge or you let the other team take charge. And the longer, if Tennessee doesn't score here, it gives Temple a chance to move the ball down and possibly score again. They're in the middle of a dogfight.
That's right. If Tennessee does score, what it basically does is eliminate all the preparation that they've done at halftime. Because what you prepared to do, the adjustments that you made, the team has come out and just negated all of that and scored on you anyway. So you're in a bind.
Tennessee's had 8 plays in this drive, well balanced, 5 rushes, 3 passes. This will be the 9th play of the drive, and this is a big one because it's 3rd down and long. 3rd and a long 4, almost 5 actually. Ball's marked at the 6. They've got to get just outside the 1 for the first down. Tennessee will have a single running back, Greg Amsler, and now we'll have 3 wide receivers. Pickens sprints way out to the number on the left side. They're looking for Pickens. They dump it off, and it's dropped by Alvin Harper. Flag is down also. Tennessee might have not had enough players on the line of scrimmage. Pickens might have had to be on the line of scrimmage and was lined up in the backfield. Let's see if that's the penalty. Alvin was looking to run before he caught it that time.
Sure was.
Temple,
Illegal procedure.
Yep. I don't think Pickens was on the line of scrimmage. And Tennessee, of course, had that penalty last week against Alabama at a crucial time that hurt them.
This is so uncharacteristic of a Johnny Majors coached team. He really stresses the point of the game to be mentally ready, to get there, know your job, get the snap count down, do what you've got to do to win the position, get the play done.
So that penalty is declined by Temple, as you might expect, and now Greg Burke is on to try his 2nd field goal today. He hit an earlier one, a 33-yarder, at the end of the 2nd quarter. Tough angle for Burke. But he executes perfectly, and Tennessee now improves its advantage to 27-10 over the Temple Owls. Temple's got to feel better, though, Ron, because although they got a field goal, Tennessee was in position to score, but again, Tennessee stopped itself.
Came down the length of the field, got inside the 10-yard line, and didn't get anything for it but 3.
Tennessee fans are happy they lead 27-10, but Condredge, it should have been a lot more.
It should have been a lot more, and next week, that drive, there are going to be a lot of great things said about possession time, but once you get down inside the 10, I mean, the offensive linemen have got to take over and become the leaders and just get the ball in the end zone. And that's something, as a great team, if you're going to be a great team, you cannot afford to drive the ball the length of the field and just go flat inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah,
just can't be done.
That last shot of Johnny Majors when he threw his gum away, I think kind of typifies the feelings. There's Majors on the sideline now, not happy. His team has scored 27 points, but it has not been sharp and is really not executed. Tennessee, though, leads in the contest 27-10. The scoring drive went 10 plays, 57 yards. Greg Burke gets the field goal from 22 yards out. Tennessee leads 27-10. Now, Ron, if you're Temple, if you can score here, you're right back in the game.
Exactly. They need a good return, get good field position where they can open up their offense and create some problems for Tennessee's defense.
They're kicking to Chris Minor again, a short kick. Minor picking his way to the 30-yard line, gets outside to the 40 and the 43 and out of bounds. Dave Thomas there to knock him out of bounds, but a good return by Chris Minor, 33 yards. Mike Keese on the sideline. Mike?
The Tennessee defense goes on the field. A guy who would like to be out there with him is Tom Fuller. Tom, you injured your ankle again in the Florida game. You did try to come back to practice, didn't you?
Yes, I came back this week in anticipation of playing hopefully a little bit, but the idea is to get me well and not take the chance of re-injuring it in this game and be ready for next week.
Be ready for Notre Dame. That's the plan.
Yes.
Okay, Tom Fuller could be back next week.
Temple's got the ball in good position. Swanson is blasted by Kerry Bailey. Conrad Swanson tried to do a little counter play up the middle and got blasted by Bailey.
There's the West Virginia wonder, right tackle Kerry Bailey slices in. Watch him take the inside gap there. Doesn't get touched. He just ran off and left the left guard. made a big play for minus yardage tackle.
Krulikowski, the guard, number 66, that was one of those lookout blocks. Swanson, look out. I tell you what, fullback, he took some punishment on that one. Second down, long. Here's the blitz from the backside. They set it up, get a block. McNair's got some room to run. Breaks a tackle, and a nice play by Scott McNair. Finally, Kerry Bailey trails it, knocks him out of bounds along with Ernest Fields. Bailey's been on 5 tackles today for Tennessee. Temple set that one up pretty good, Kendrick.
That was a pretty good throwback screen. Almost got fooled on that one. They did a good job of bringing all the motion to the wide side of the field and throwing back the screen to the left side to the short side, and that was a pretty good play. They should probably come back to that one.
Third down. There's Virginia jumping on top of Georgia Tech. Everybody's concerned with that game. Baker, short yardage, dumps it off to the safe man. That's Swanson, the fullback. And he's in Tennessee territory down to the 36-yard line before Roderick Lewis comes up from strong safety to make the stop. Swanson, we said earlier, is one of their better receivers, and this time he was the safety man and made a nice catch, 16 yards.
They just dropped the ball off to him right past the line of scrimmage. Sean Walker, they were trying to run him down from his linebacker position, just gets beat up the field.
Now they go back to the I formation. They have not been in the I very much today. And the tailback is Leon Brown. The tight end, and the ball is knocked away at the last minute. Terrific play by Jeremy Lincoln. Devaney thought he had the ball, but Lincoln came over and swatted it away.
Great defensive play that time. They had the isolation that they wanted. They're throwing back to the tight end on a corner route, and if you'll notice, the linebacker is underneath trying to cover him. That's a mismatch simply because the guy's bigger and a little bit faster, maybe. And the defensive back comes over top and makes a good strip.
Hardy was back there, but he was beaten on the play by Devaney. Jeremy Lincoln came over and saved a long gainer for the Owls. Second and long now. Pressure. Oh. Mims is chasing him. Now he's got lots of room to run. He's going to pick up about 7.
We got dragged to the ground that time.
Chuck Smith was mauled in the backfield.
Yes, it was ugly.
Chuck is still jumping around.
If they can get a replay on this, you'll see the fact that when the quarterback reverses his field, Chuck just got a sweet takedown. That guy ought to have been an All-American wrestler. Here it comes on the play.
Top of the screen.
Top of the screen. He's getting pulled down here, and let's finish it.
That was James Parrish in the wrestling act with Smith. Third down and about 6-7. Baker got a man right down the middle, and it is knocked away. Another great play, this time by Floyd Miley. Scott McNair got on the seam, and Miley knocked it away. Temple 0 of 7 on third down conversions, but you've got to credit Tennessee's secondary with some big plays.
That was a great play by Floyd Miley. I tell you, that's one of the places that they've been trying to exploit is the middle of the Tennessee defense and the secondary. The way they're doing that is stretching their tight end through the seam and running a back underneath. And they've taken the option to hit the back most of the time, but that one instance they tried to go for it all with the seam route.
Big play by Miley. Now it's fourth down. Out of the backfield, Swanson, the fullback, for a first down. Daryl Hardy chases down Swanson, and Hardy is slow to get up, but that's a first down for the Owls. A big fourth down conversion.
You got a pretty good lick on their quarterback. Baker got up limping. I don't know how bad he is, but yeah.
They say that he's got the mentality of a Marine. I mean, you're going to have to throw a hand grenade at him to get him out of there. He's just a tough kid. They say he's a lot like Boomer Esiason, the way he loves to play and loves to get the physical aspect of football and loves to mix it up. Having a pretty good day statistically. The big thing is to get his team into the end zone. McNair's got a hole. McNair's almost got a first down. It'll be close.
Knocked his mouthpiece out. He got tattooed pretty good right there.
Yeah, Roderick Lewis came up. Right up the middle at you. He runs right by Sean Walker. Swanson threw a good block there. Hardy gets knocked down. And now another Temple player is down.
That's Baker.
Baker's down.
I thought he got popped pretty good before. That was Chris Benz that hit him. Chris Benz hit him on the last pass play, I think it was.
Now, if Baker can't go, Anthony Richardson would be the backup. Now, Richardson is a guy who has played 3 games this year. In fact, he was the starter last year when Baker went down after the first game. So Richardson would come in, but I'm sure that the Temple Owls would really not like to have to lose their starting quarterback right now. This is a big game for Temple. If they could win, they would be 5-3, but the Owls also have some other Eastern games coming up that are very important. So while this game would be big, they also have Pittsburgh, Rutgers, and Boston College left. And so this is a big play.
In mentioning Richardson, we had asked the SID from Temple about him. He's thrown for 180 yards this year, but over 100 of them were in the first game of the season and hadn't seen nothing but mop-up action since then.
Richardson is over on the Temple sideline heating up. He's like a relief pitcher. He's over there heating up as fast as he can because he's got to come in because Baker is leaving.
I think he's going to be in for more than one play, too.
Yep.
And what you have to realize when this situation happens, a quarterback that's been standing over there on the sideline and a center that's been playing the whole game with another quarterback, there's a great possibility of a mishandled snap on this first play, especially if the Tennessee defensive line comes off the ball and causes any kind of confusion. Could be a fumble.
Richardson, 6'3", 195. So far this year, he's 9 of 21 through the air, 42%. He's thrown a touchdown and has had 1 intercepted. He comes in a key situation, 2nd and short for Temple at the Tennessee 15-yard line. McNair got some running room inside the 10 to the 8. Ernest Fields puts him to the ground.
The big wide bodies of the Temple offensive line get a good surge here, wall off the Tennessee defense, create a crack. Good yardage, good field block there on the linebacker on Sean Walker.
Running right behind Brian Irwin, 6'2", 260, a sophomore out of Philadelphia. Tennessee has not allowed a rushing touchdown since the Colorado game. But Temple's knocking on the door. They're going to stay on the ground. McNair wrestled down by Sean Walker, but he's to the 5-yard line. Walker is a junior out of College Park, Georgia via TMI as he went to Tennessee Military Institute. And it's really been a pleasant surprise of this Tennessee defense. He's a guy that Larry Lacewell, the defensive coordinator, said it's too small to play it, but he just makes play after play. Let's see what he can do here. 2nd down, goal for Temple. Counter tray, nothing going. Ernest Fields snuffed it out. Sean Walker there also to help out.
Good job by Tennessee's defense rising to the occasion here. They're in a short yardage defense. They're all penetrating upfield, staying at home. Sean Walker there to make the play. That's what he's there for. Excuse me, Ernest Fields. I'm sorry.
Yep, Fields was there.
Stayed
Walker was right behind him, though.
Wasn't fooled by the misdirection, did his job, and got the cutback.
Now the big play for Anthony Richardson, the quarterback, who just came in from Matt Baker. 6:05 to go 3rd quarter. Tennessee 27, Temple 10. Temple's had the ball 5.5 minutes on this possession, but they've got to score. McNair inside the 5 to the 4, but he's got to get into the end zone. Roderick Lewis on the stop. Now Temple is... Yeah, they're going to go for it or go for the field goal.
They're sending the field goal team in, but I would look for a fake. I think they need to get some points, but you never know. They might feel that their offense is moving well enough that they can take the 3 points and come back later.
Hornbaker, the holder, is a wide receiver, so he's not a quarterback. Right. He's got 1 field goal to his credit today. And now has 2. Temple does kick it, and the lead now is back to 2 touchdowns. 27-13 for Tennessee with 5:17 to go in the third quarter. Connors, you're surprised they didn't go for it.
Well, the one play, they went for it on fourth down here, and the play that they've run is a play-action pass with the back leaking into the flat, and they've hit it every time. And I felt that they might give a concerted effort to go for it, but that's why I'm up here and coaches are coaching. But,
exactly. 27-13, Tennessee leads. Of course, this is the big weekend for former Volunteers, the 100 Years of Volunteers celebration last night, and the all-time team. Here it is, in case you haven't seen it. The wide receivers, not bad. Willie Gault, Stanley Morgan, and Larry Sievers. The running backs, not bad. Reggie Cobb, Kurt Watson, Hank Laricella. The coach got in there, Johnny Majors. The tackles, both in the pros right now. Tim Irwin and Bruce Wilkerson. The guards, Harry Galbraith of the Miami Dolphins. Eric Still, who was, of course, drafted last year. In the center, maybe the best football player to play at Tennessee, Bob Johnson, the original draft pick of the Cincinnati Bengals. There's the quarterback, Condridge Holloway. We'll ask him how much he had to pay for the votes, per vote, to get that award. Place kicker was Fawad Reveiz. And we'll get to the defense a little bit later. Dale Carter. But we're making fun of him, but that's a great honor, Condridge, and I know you're very thrilled with it.
The big thing about it being such a great honor is that the fans voted for it. And having played so long ago, you would think that fans would only be familiar with current players, and it is just a great honor to be honored by the fans.
Another short kick. Faulkner, they're kicking away from Dale Carter. Faulkner gets it, and he's going to be thrown down as Temple gets good coverage. Darrell Nelson is downfield for the Owls. The drive for Temple, the scoring drive, 12 plays and 55 yards. They used 6 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock, and it ended up with a field goal for the Temple Owls and Bob Ross. Let's go to the sidelines now and Mike Keith. Mike?
Bob, it's really hard to tell just how severe Matt Baker's injury is. It's to his right foot, and the biggest problem the trainer had with him is getting his shoe off because Matt wouldn't let him take it off. He wanted to watch the ball game. They're icing it down. Again, the severity is not known, but knowing Matt Baker, don't be surprised if you see him back in there. He's not being very cooperative on the Temple sideline.
He'll come back in there with that ice pack on if they don't watch him. Kenyatta Rush makes the stop as Tennessee runs up the middle with Tony Thompson. They were talking about in one game, I guess it was the Penn State game, and the coach was rallying the troops, had the defensive unit over there talking to him, and Matt Baker was in the middle of the defensive huddle yelling at him. So that's the type player Matt Baker is. There he is on the sidelines. They've got the shoe off finally, and they're looking at it. They'll just tape it up tighter probably, and we probably see Baker again. Tennessee, second and long. Kelly play action. He's got a man streaking Pickens down the sidelines, but can't get the ball to him and runs out of bounds, short of the first down. In fact, he's only going to pick up maybe a half a yard. Greg Liberty ran him out of bounds. It was Bruce and Pickens running stride for stride, but Kelly couldn't get him the ball.
Well, I think Andy's most effective, especially with a deep ball, when he's stationary. If he's got to move, don't expect to see him throw the ball deep on the run. That's not one of his fortes. They flushed him out of the pocket, and he made a smart decision by not trying to do something that he can't do.
4:27 to go in the third quarter. Now Kelly has got a big third down conversion. Tennessee 3 of 4 in that department today. Here's the blitz, and they get him. Tim Hole blitzes through and drops Andy Kelly. They're going to mark it back inside the Tennessee 10-yard line at the 9. They haven't blitzed much, but they got him that time, Ron.
Here it is on the replay. You see everybody coming, taking a gap. Tennessee starts out there, 2 men on 1. They didn't get it picked up. Number 90 comes rushing through. That's the outside backer in there making the big play Hole for the big sack and turn the ball over now to Tennessee.
Yeah, Mike Stoll was in there. He's the guy who wasn't able to get a piece of Hole to stop him. There's the kick. It takes a Temple roll, and it's going to be down at the 37-yard line. So the Temple Owls, after the short kick from Joey Chapman, are right back in business. Bradley makes the down. Again, we cleared up. We mentioned in the first quarter, a half, we thought that Shazan Bradley might have been thrown out for that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. That is not the case. Shazan back in there, and he downed the football. Only a 28-yard punt by Joey Chapman. And we're looking for Matt Baker. He's still on the sideline. They're still working on the ankle. So Anthony Richardson will now direct the Temple attack from the Tennessee 37-yard line. Temple only down by 2 touchdowns.
Tennessee defense has got to rise to the occasion on this series.
They're blitzing. They got it. Moore. Bailey. Boy, Gary Bailey's having a big game. 6 tackles we have him for.
Right there's the biggest play of them all, too, because the poor punt, the kicking team didn't get the ball down the field. Here they come, sending linebackers from the outside. Richardson steps back up in the pocket. Carey does a good job getting up the field, ripping the arm loose, coming through for the big sack. New quarterback in the game. He hadn't thrown a pass yet. Let's see what he can do.
Ernest Fields is the one who blitzed him. And then left it to the inside guys of Moore and Bailey. Blocked down to 3 minutes, third quarter. Tennessee on top. Here's the handoff to Brown on the draw, and he gets nowhere. Tennessee's defense reacts. Roderick Lewis comes up again and makes a play. Sean Walker's there as well. It'll be 3rd and long now for Temple and Anthony Richardson. Ron, this is the situation you want. Richardson's got to throw it here.
He's got to throw it. It's a long situation. Don't look for him to throw the ball down the field, though. He may try to throw a swing pass or something to maybe get half the yardage or dump it out in the open field to let the guy run down because Tennessee's a good chance of coming with the rush here.
2.5 minutes to go, third quarter. Temple needs a first down. They got to get to the 27-yard line. Richardson throwing long.
That's
Great
an interception.
Has it knocked away. Dale Carter and Jeremy Lincoln again make the play on Drayton. The ball just slightly underthrown, and Drayton tried to out-jump him, and Tennessee got a hand on it.
Here's a replay. This was a great defensive disguise. He actually thought that he had this guy wide open, and they were in 2-zone, and Dale Carter just stayed on his hash, came over, and if the ball is better thrown, it's picked off by Dale Carter.
So Tennessee's defense, after the short kick, stops Temple, and the Owls are back in punt formation.
Set fake.
And they pick it up. Temple tries the fake to Roman Hale, and Kerry Bailey isn't fooled. Trent Thompson jumped up as if the ball went over his head, but Tennessee's defense was wide awake. Hale, the up back, got the snap, 46, and got stuffed.
They've set this up all day long. Hale will walk up like he's coming behind the center to get the snap. He's the searchlight. He's the guy that tells where to set the blocking pattern. There they snap the ball right to him, trying to catch Tennessee off guard. The interior linemen do a good job. Bailey, once again, making a big play.
Well, we said Bailey was actually Ernest Fields. It was Fields, the linebacker, who stayed at home. Handoff to Tony Thompson up the middle. He's over 100 yards now to the 46. Ron, we were watching film this week. We saw that play. Every time you had to look for that play, and Tennessee obviously did its homework scouting that play.
They were prepared. Nobody was caught off guard. The kicking team the return team did a good job realizing what had happened, made the play. Now they've got the field position. They need to go and make something happen offensively.
Second down, 6 to go. Tennessee ball at the Tennessee 45-yard line. The Volunteers lead 27-13. Kelly, play action.
You got him.
Dumps it out in the flat. That's his fullback, Roland Poles. Poles, a high hurdler, knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Where did he get that move?
Hey, Roland Poles, I'm telling you, he's going to surprise you every time. This guy has a lot of ability. I've done quite a few activities with him sports-wise other than football. He is a total athlete. I mean, he's a big guy, and he's a big fullback bruiser, but he is an athlete. He can do, this is not unusual for him to high hurdle a guy at 240.
24 yards on the reception by Roland Poles. He's been watching Condridge Holloway films. That's the way the Artful Dodger used to do it. Kelly, quick pop, Carl Pickens. Not much. 5 yards. Schmitz comes up. Also over there is the cornerback, Ron Bruce, 25.
We've got him itching up over here, Ron. I tell you, it's the hitch and go is getting ready to come, folks. I guarantee you.
They're breaking on the ball more. And another play that we haven't seen, and we've talked about Poles and the job he's done, but Ansler has not been in the backfield at tailback, and he can throw the halfback option pass down the field.
Thompson at tailback now. There's another quick catch to Alvin Harper. He's wrestled down by Gary Mobley and also Darrell Nelson. Harper picks up the first down to the 15-yard line. You know, the Tennessee receiving corps has not been busy the last couple of weeks. As you look at Alvin Harper, who had caught 8 passes in his first game, has caught only 11 passes since the Colorado game. And almost the same thing with Carl Pickens. He's only caught 12. You got to get these guys the ball, don't you, Kendrick?
You got to get them the ball, and they're very, very proud receivers, and they want the ball. I mean, any great receiver wants the ball more and more, but it's a necessity to get the ball to these folks in this offense.
Could be the last play of the third quarter. 20 seconds to go, and Thompson right up the middle to the 10-yard line. Now on a first down carry down to the 5, and Santos Stevens makes the stop for the Temple Owls as Tony Thompson continues the march up to now 109 yards as the third quarter comes to a close. Not much scoring. Both teams got field goals, but Tennessee in a position to put this game away as we go to the fourth period. At the end of 3 quarters at Neyland Stadium, Tennessee leads the Temple Owls 27-13.
His job is to help people adapt to changing circumstances.
There's a definite link between education in the state and industry in the state and economic development. Educational opportunities are important for industry that's locating.
When the university sets its standards high, elementary and high schools across the state set their standards high. The state has a vested interest in UT pushing for excellence and pushing for the best of everything.
There's the scene at Neyland Stadium and the vital statistic, Tennessee on top by 2 touchdowns. Tennessee next week plays Temple, then the Volunteers go to Memphis and play Ole Miss, and then back to close out the season against Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Big games coming up in November and December, but Tennessee trying to put this one away right now in the fourth quarter. Let's go down to the sidelines again and Mike.
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, this thing may be turning into a grudge match in the fourth quarter. This Tennessee sideline that you see right now was all the way up in the front here just moments ago. A lot of jawing going on, and as Condridge was talking about, this one may be interesting in the fourth quarter in terms of the physical aspect.
Temple has not backed down from anybody so far this year. They played in some tough spots this year. Here's Andy Kelly on the option again to Thompson. Thompson to the corner. Thompson cuts it up and bowls down to the 3-yard line. He just got outside and waited for the seam that never really came. Temple pursued that one pretty good, Ron.
They did a good job pursuing it, but still yet they haven't really attacked Andy Kelly at quarterback coming down the line on the option.
Well, go ahead.
He's reading the play, coming down. They're trying to string it out and get to the pitch man, but he's making himself very vulnerable, and Temple's not doing anything to react to it. They're still getting outside, getting blocks on the corner, and Tennessee's using it for first down yardage almost every time.
That's the best seat in the house right there. First and goal, Tennessee. Tony Thompson. Handoff to Poles inside, and he's in for the touchdown.
Flag on the play. Flag on the play, but he also signaled touchdown, so it's probably offsides on them.
Roland Poles, second touchdown of the day. As the Volunteers, if the touchdown stands.
Yes.
Let's see.
It's offsides on Temple.
Offsides, Temple, touchdown, Tennessee. The Volunteers go up 33-13 as Roland Poles, I'd say, bucking for player of the game. He's had a big-time afternoon. He's only got 13 yards rushing, but 2 touchdowns, and he's also caught several passes.
To get back to Ron's point, I'm very, very shocked that the Temple Owls are not attacking Andy Kelly on the option, because any option quarterback that comes down the line with 2 unproven quarterbacks as his backup will usually get hit in the mouth quite a bit, but he hasn't been touched, and I'm very shocked that that's had to happen.
Back to the Colorado game, the Mississippi State game, both times Kelly was running the option in the corner, or the safety man came up there and hit him right up under her chin, and there that play went out of the arsenal of the Tennessee offense.
But replay right here is a handoff to Roland Poles. He goes airborne. He's taking some strength to do that, folks. We're getting 240 up in the air, and that's a touchdown. Good play by Roland Poles.
And good play by Greg Amsler. He led him through the hole.
What you're seeing is a lot of the seniors on the Tennessee football team taking charge. Guys like Bailey, guys like Roland Poles, they realize the importance of getting out and winning this game convincingly to get ready for the rest of the season.
Good point, Ron. Well taken.
Boy, is that just a great shot right there. Blue sky in East Tennessee, and Tennessee with a big lead. Florida State rolling over the Gamecocks. Boy, South Carolina has had a rough season. Clemson trying to lock up a bowl bid. has knocked off North Carolina by 17. We'll have some other finals as we go on. The scoring play for Tennessee. Effective, 7 plays, 58 yards, 235. Roland Poles, second touchdown of the day. Thompson, by the way, Tony Thompson, 18 rushes, 115 yards. He's averaging 6.5 carries per game. Andy Kelly, 13 of 18 through the air for 214 yards. Chapman nails that one. And Temple will take it on the 20. Joey Chapman, who's really added a lot to Tennessee's kicking game. He's also a terrific field goal kicker. He kicks off and punts for Tennessee. Anthony Richardson stays at quarterback for the Temple Owls. We have not seen Matt Baker since he went out with that ankle problem. You don't want to say that turned the game around, but I'm sure Temple would rather have Matt Baker in there right now than Anthony Richardson. Richardson was a quarterback last year when Temple went 1-10. He steps up and throws, almost intercepted. Pass was intended across the middle for Drayton, and Tennessee had Dotson back there.
Well, a bad throw that time was a blessing for Richardson, because if he throws that one anywhere to his receiver, it's intercepted. Great pressure by the Tennessee defense right here.
Sirles and Smith get in there.
Smith doing an arm under, coming inside, right in his face when he threw the ball.
You know, they tell us, and Ron, we're talking to some of the defensive coaches, they say Smith gets better every day at practice. He's getting more familiar with the Tennessee scheme.
Exactly. Came out of junior college last year, the Athens, Georgia product. Had a lot to learn. Had some disciplinary problems early in the year. He's learning what big-time football is all about, and he's getting better week in and week out.
Boy, Richardson in trouble. Knocked down by Daryl Hardy and also Chris Mims. Mims is another guy. Of course, he had the transcript problems and missed the first couple weeks of the season. Now he's come on and really added a lot to this Tennessee defense. Gives them size and strength. And Daryl Hardy really is emerging as one of the leaders on the Tennessee defense. He and Ernest Fields at linebackers really add stability to this Tennessee defense. I mean, Ron, the 3 linebackers play so well as a group, and I think the whole defense gets confidence from them.
They do. They're the old hats back there, even though they're not really that old. Hardy, of course, being the senior, but they've been around, and they're setting the example. They're setting the tone with the licks they pass, and they always are around the football. That's the important thing for a linebacker.
Catch by Drayton. He did a lot of moving and shuffling, but only picked up 5 yards.
That's a weak call.
Now 5-yard or a penalty flag is dropped. Drayton got out there juking and shucking, and
that'll be 15.
Roderick Lewis came up. By the way, Hardy is a junior. I think.
I'm sorry.
He's a senior. He's a junior. They got all the linebackers coming back next year. Let's watch this now, Condrich.
Well, basically what happens is our player, Tennessee player, gets penalized for hitting his own player here. I mean, I could see piling on if the helmet. Oh, it's a face mask. Well, then
there it is.
That's a legit penalty.
You just saw it.
I thought it was a piling on penalty.
No,
it was a face mask. I stand corrected.
First mistake since last night.
Well, since 1942.
Now let's see if it's only if it's going to be a major face mask. There's Matt Baker. Boy, does that sum it up right there? He's dying to get back in there, but the ankle just won't do. Had a shoulder injury last year that knocked him out of 10 games. Now we'll see how severe this ankle injury is. There's Daryl Hardy.
We're in the 4th quarter of the ball game, Bob, and in the last three games they had, he was 17 for 17 passing the ball in the 4th quarter, and you got him over on the bench out of the game.
Not a first down. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down. Pass high and a big stick again by Tennessee. This time, Dave Thomas knocks down Sam Jenkins, and Tennessee's defense holds. We just noticed they brought a golf cart over to the Temple sideline, and I think they're going to take Matt Baker off.
Let's look at this one. Talk about rib problems. You got a flak jacket on? What? Reaching up.
Ooh, boink.
And Coach Lacewell realizes he's got a quarterback with inexperience in there, and he tricked him with the covers that time. He gave him one look and gave him cover 2. He threw right into it, and that's an ouchie. Ouch.
I doubt if Trent Thompson's going to fake this one. Dale Carter back for Tennessee. Tennessee got the return on. Good high wobbly kick, and Carter drifts back inside his 25. Picking his way. He's got one man to beat to get to the outside. Harris running him down. Carter just dances out of bounds. What an athlete. Is that fun?
It's exciting. That's exciting. Tennessee football.
You know, James Harris, 86 at Temple, was saying, okay, I got you lined up, and Carter just dances out, does a little Muhammad Ali shuffle, and gets out of bounds.
Here we go, setting up his blocks. All good kick returners do a great job of that, setting them up, taking advantage of them, changing direction, going to the outside.
Now watch Harris, 86. He said, okay, I got you. Up. Well, I'll just get out of this thing. 12:33 to go, fourth quarter. Tennessee trying to ice this thing right now, if it's not already put away. 34-13, Tennessee leads.
Another checkoff from Andy.
Clemens McCroskey gets the carry. And Kyle Glasper comes up. McCroskey's slow to get up. He has really been hobbled by injuries his entire career. He's got a bad hamstring coming into this one. He's been bothered by a knee injury. Speaking of injuries, there goes Matt Baker. Condors, that didn't look good with Baker going off. That might be a serious ankle problem.
Well, when I saw him limping the first time, I thought it was more serious than we anticipated. And then when they carried him off the field, not letting him put pressure on it, that's usually an indication. And I mean, the adrenaline can only take you so far, and then reality sets in, and the pain is just, you have to get it attended to.
But you know what? He came up hobbling and still played. I mean, he just played as long as he could. So we salute Matt Baker for another fine effort. I mean, he led this Temple team in here, and they have played hard this afternoon.
He is definitely a competitor. You have to give him that.
Clemens McCroskey now, we shift our attention to him. He's down on the field. He's been bothered with a knee injury. Just came back last game, and now he's going to be helped to the sidelines. Clemens from Shelbyville, Tennessee, is a guy that just can't shake the injury bugaboo.
That doesn't look good. There's no pressure on that right leg.
So now Tracy Smith is back. He played briefly in the first half. Smith in there at running back. He carried the ball twice in the first half for 3 yards. Now he's at tailback. Kelly going to throw long. Nope, dumps it off to the safe man, Vince Moore, and he's rolled down by Roman Hale. Short game, maybe none at all. All right, Codridge, let's put you on the spot here. You know you got Lloyd Kerr. He hasn't played at all. If Kelly goes down, you're facing the November stretch with a quarterback with no experience. Do you throw Kerr in this game?
I think you do. I think you might see Lloyd Kerr, but not at this juncture. I think with 11:38 left, it's too much time. And what you don't want to do is put a young guy in, bad things happen, and you have to jerk him. So you're going to put him in at a point where he can play the rest of the game.
Intercepted. It's intercepted by Eric Fenwick, and he's got a wall of blockers. Fenwick is going to score for Temple. Eric Fenwick. Is there a penalty flag down?
Yes, there is.
It's back right in the middle of the field, but Eric Fenwick, 6'2", 260.
It's going back.
Picked that one off and took it back for the touchdown. Now let's see if they're going to wipe it off. I think they might. Clipping Tennessee.
No, Temple.
No, clipping
Temple, excuse me. But was it after the interception? Probably. Temple will probably get the football. That's the biggest moment of Eric Fenwick's career, and it gets wiped off. But Temple's got the football.
They could have timed him with a sundial coming down the sidelines. It took a while. Here it is.
Well, this is drop back, and Andy sees the blitz coming in. He did get his feet set to throw it. And, Ron, I've got to agree with you. I think you can count the shoelaces on this young man's shoes running right here.
Yeah, but look at the convoy he's got. Alvin Harper can't catch him. That Tennessee dodged a big-time bullet there. That was almost a disastrous play.
That was not a good decision by Andy, but things happen like that. You just have to continue and go ahead and play. Can't play scared. You got to play to win.
The Temple, instead of the touchdown, has the ball at the 31-yard line. Inside handoff goes to the running back, Sam Jenkins. Picks up 4 yards on the play. Eric Riffer. Nope. Darrell Hardy is in there. Thought I saw Riffer for a second, but he's not in there. Casey Rogers also in there now. Tennessee has now David Bennett in at free safety. First time Bennett's played in a while when the game's still on the line. In for Dale Carter. J.J. McCleskey is also in there. Second and long. Richardson to throw. And that's going to be overshot. Miley had the best chance to catch that one. Intended for Ron Graff, but it was nowhere near.
Coach Lace was really confusing this young kid. He's giving him so many different looks, and what he thinks is one coverage, he's making him throw right in the teeth of another. He is definitely getting fooled by disguising the coverage. Tennessee's doing a good job of doing that.
Richardson now 1 of 5 through the air since he's come in. There's the final. Notre Dame rolling. But look, Navy scored 31 points against them today. The Irish playing at home, and they come to Knoxville next Saturday. 10:33 to go in this one. Tennessee leads 34-13. Richardson throws it. McNair drops it. Saw Ernest Fields out of the corner of his eyes and couldn't catch it.
I think we got a case of the alligator arms on that one. What do you think, Ron?
Short hands if I ever saw him. He was a good 4 yards short of the first down marker. Looking back, trying to run before he caught it, maybe, but I think Fields' face right there was the big difference.
Yes, sir.
Trent Thompson in to kick it again. Thompson's been busy today, especially the second half. This is to be his 5th kick of the day. He's averaging 44 yards a kick.
Hadn't they just punted 3 times in the last 2 games?
Yeah. Ooh, Fields almost blocked it. Great kick, though. Carter drifts back to his 15-yard line. Little chess game. Gets outside, gets 1 block, gets 2 blocks. Face mask. Carter tiptoeing down the sideline. Dale Carter finally knocked out of bounds. 2 penalty flags down. I think this one's coming back too because of a clip.
That needs to be on the highlight film, whether it's good or not.
Hey, that made Fred Astaire envious there.
What a run.
I tell you what, he talks about the fact he just loves to play this game. And you can see it right there. They're sorting out everything. Trent Thompson is the guy who knocked him out of bounds.
You know, most guys, when you've got a rush on to try and block a kick, will just fair catch the ball. Here you see Tennessee coming, trying to put pressure on, which is releasing the kicking team to come cover the kick. Watch what Dale Carter does.
Let's see if we can see the clip.
He sets it up and out runs 1, 2, 3, 4 players.
52 yards on the return, or 52 yards on the punt. Look at that. In high school, this has been talked about many times. He returned to either a punt or a kickoff for a touchdown in every single game his senior year. Face mask, Temple, clipping Tennessee. Now what do you do? Mike Stoll is in there now for Tennessee, 59 at guard. Let's see what either Baird or Myslinski who returns.
No, Carter is just such a tremendous athlete. If you ever take a notice, whenever they're rushing a kick, a field goal, an extra point, he'll come and just flat-footed jump from behind the line and go 3 or 4 foot into the air. In fact, he was just inches away from blocking the winning field goal that Alabama had against Tennessee 2 weeks ago.
He sure was.
It's a clip against Tennessee. I don't think Coach Majors is confused as we are. How would you not take a face mask penalty? The clipping penalty stands. And Tennessee has declined the face mask penalty.
Big change in yardage right there. Tennessee had the ball past midfield. Now they're backed up to their 9-yard line.
First and 10, Volunteers. Tony Thompson to the outside. Hale runs him out of bounds. Roman Hale. Clock is down to 10 minutes. Tony Thompson now comes up gimpy. I tell you what, you can't afford to lose many more tailbacks. You've lost Webb. You've lost McCroskey. Tracy Smith now comes in. Tony Thompson, not the biggest guy, 5'7", 181, and you take a pounding.
I think he found out what being a big-time tailback, what it involves this year, because getting pounded day in and day out takes its toll on your body.
Nice
Throw the wheel. Throw the wheel.
Kelly's got room to run to the 20. He's got a first down, out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Not known as a runner, Glasper knocks him out of bounds. 20 yards for Kelly.
If Andy ever gets the time to throw this wheel pattern, they've run it 3 times today, and every time Vince Moore has just come wide open. But
what do you mean by the wheel now?
Well, it's a post pattern with an out, up, and out and up, and an up behind it. So when the post pattern takes the top off the coverage, the out and up comes trailing behind it, and there's nobody to cover it.
Tennessee 34, Temple 13, 8 minutes to go, 8.5. Rolling Poles up the middle. Eric Fenwick wrestles him down along with the middle of the Temple line. Constantos also is there.
That was one of Coach Walt Harris's favorite plays when he was running the Tennessee offense, and for years it was always open. If you had the time to throw it, he took advantage of it. Tony Robinson, Jeff Francis, all past quarterbacks always use that play very effectively for Tennessee's offense.
It's a great zone pass play. A lot of people get confused and want to run it against man coverage, but it is a zone pattern.
Tracy Smith trying to get outside, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds. Let's see. There's a flag there. The Tennessee bench wanted it. Glasper. Check that. Chris Minor, number 9, got hooked up with Tracy Smith. Tackle was up around the headgear, but they didn't call a face mask. And Coach Johnny Majors has not been happy with the officiating crew. He, if you remember at halftime, as they were walking off the field, went over and voiced his concerns and has not been very happy. There's Virginia beating Georgia Tech. 3rd down short. Rolling Poles. Powers for the first down on the 45-yard line.
The big guy from Caledonia is going to have a lot to talk about after this game. He's finally getting to carry the ball. He's going to get his name in print, and I tell you, he should have had his name in print a lot sooner, because he is one heck of a blocker, isn't he, Ron?
He does a great job knocking people off the ball. You just stop and think. We hear the headlines with a Reggie Cobb, a Chuck Webb, a Tony Thompson. The guy in front of him that's creating the hole so many times is Rolling Poles.
Tennessee would like to get one more touchdown at least. Poles 17 yards. Kelly throwing deep. Pickens racing after it and got it. Carl Pickens at the 5-yard line. Great pass. Andy Kelly right on the button. Pickens beat Chris Minor. And Tennessee's got a 1st and goal. 50 yards on the throw and catch. Kelly to Carl Pickens down the sideline.
Let's watch this real close.
Let's watch this one, folks.
This was not underthrown this time. He only got the ball out there.
He really did.
Right on the sidelines, maybe. Did he have that foot down? I don't know, boys.
We don't have replay, so it's good. It's good, folks. It's a completion.
Let's see that one again if we can, Mike. Tracy Smith.
Oh, we had some blocks right there.
Knocked down by Smith.
Wow.
You know, coming into this game, the right tackle for Temple, Kenyatta Rush, was heralded as their best defensive lineman, a big play guy, and Charles McCray has totally shut him down. I remember one play he's made the whole day.
Mike Stoll just had a classic hit in the face block on this one.
Let's see here. Where does that foot come down? Well, the official was right there, but that sure looked close. Tennessee, 2nd and goal. Poles. Did he get in? Nope. Poles just short.
Let's get the big kid from Caledonia one more.
That's not bad for a guy that hadn't scored before today's game this season. He's got a hat trick maybe coming up.
There you go.
Speaking of a hat trick.
Yeah.
That's a couple licks Tennessee put on some people today. Guys were looking at their ear holes. I guess what that'd be like if they had on a hat.
This is the 8th play of the drive. Tracy Smith at tailback. Rolling Poles gets the ball and gets a touchdown. 3rd touchdown for Tennessee. Guess what? Another marker down on the play.
It's a marker, but the guy that threw the marker also signaled touchdown, which indicates offsides on Temple. More than likely.
Offsides. Temple, good call. Decline. Rolling Poles. has got 3 touchdowns. Power right up the middle. Myslinski, look at the block by Myslinski.
Great surge off the line. The whole defense from Temple's in the checkerboard square area.
Watch the Temple hats come up. I mean, Myslinski and Fisher, they just knocked them back.
Yep.
Third TD for Roland Poles, and Tennessee leads it now 40-13. Greg Burke out of the hold of Jason Julian. (41-13). Tennessee leads Temple with 7:23 to go in the third quarter. You know, Conrad, we talked about Roland Poles, and here's a guy that just gives his all, blocking, doing the little things, and finally getting a chance to get your name in the paper, I guess is the best way to put it. I mean, it makes it all worthwhile.
It sure does. And I mean, one of my old coaches said something that I'll always remember, and it's very simple. He said, you know, it's the little things that make big things happen. And Roland Poles is one of those little intricacies that makes the big play happen. And now he's finally getting his chance. And for him to get his name in the paper tomorrow would be great. I mean, it's no different than when Tony Thompson, the hard-working tailback, he knew his role was going to be to play behind Chuck Webb, and Chuck gets hurt. All of a sudden, Tony shines, and it was his day in the sun. And I think this is Roland's day, and good job there, Caledonia.
Mike Rollo checking him out there on the sidelines. They're probably fitting him for a new helmet. That head will grow a little bit after reading himself in the paper this week.
I would imagine they're putting the oxygen tent over him.
That had to be a big tent.
I tell you what, he's had a terrific day. There's the scoring drive, and Roland Poles with number 3. 7:23 to go in the game, and Tennessee now leads comfortably 41-13, and some of the Tennessee faithful start heading to the exits. Joey Chapman to kick it off again for Tennessee. And now the Temple deep people wander up short. Chapman, squib kick, nice bounce. It's going to be a return right up the middle by Hornbaker. Hornbaker, he gets out to midfield. Well, that didn't work, Ron, whatever they were trying to do, as Jeremy Lincoln makes the stop, and Temple's got great position.
Well, how many times when you kick the ball on the line on the ground like that will it bounce right up into the hands of the return man? That's the one thing Tennessee didn't want to happen. That's true. That's why it's an oblong spheroid, and you never know where it's going.
Temple's got the ball near midfield. Let's go to Mike.
Well, Bob, a lot of people have been calling call-in shows this year asking what's happened to Preston Warren. You can see him right now on the Tennessee sidelines. Secondary coach Tim Keene came over just moments ago and asked him to go in the game, or asked him if he wanted to go in the game, and he said no. 2 years ago, an all-SEC player. Now he's winding up his career.
And then a kind of a bitter note, too. David Bennett's now in there at safety. Here's Richardson. Throwing the ball, and great catch by Drake. Inside the 40. What a catch by Drake. One-handed grab. I tell you what, that's big time right there. Knocked down by Lance Nelson.
Great play. Well, going back to the kickoff, though, don't you think maybe the squib kick is probably getting ready for a guy named Rocket for next week? Maybe just trying to see what you're going to do.
Well, you better do it better than that.
I think they might be experimenting a little bit to see just how you're not going to kick the ball to that guy.
Was that a nice catch by Drayton right there? David Bennett makes the stop. Before that catch, Richardson had only had 10 yards in offense since Baker went out. So that's the first down for Richardson. Richardson zips it. Mike Keith. Mike Keith on the sidelines. Unbelievable. There he is.
Great reception. Good poise.
1 for 1 for Mike Keith.
He couldn't catch a cold in the middle of winter.
No good. Your knee was on the ground.
Yeah, it doesn't count. You're out of bounds. Out of bounds. Second down, 10.
That's a way to stay in the game,
really making a pressure from the backside, coming hard. This guy reminds me a lot of a fellow that's playing for the Detroit Lions right now, Mike Cofer, that did so well in an orange uniform years ago. He's built in the same mold. He's the kind of a guy that really puts pressure.
Leon Brown gets some running room for a change. He has not had many places to run. J.J. McCleskey rolls him down. Mike Keith's reception good for 21 yards. Not a first down. 6:26 to go. Clock runs. Tennessee 41, Temple 13. It'll It'll be third down and short for Richardson and company. Shazan Bradley back in for Tennessee. Kelly Days had a chance to play. Now he is out of the lineup.
Richardson's limping noticeably when he come out there to the huddle.
You know, I noticed when he came on the field the first time he was kind of jogging gingerly. Their third string quarterback's their punter, Trent Thompson. Richardson keeps it, fires, nobody's looking. Good design play, but he threw into double coverage as Conrad Swanson, the fullback, drifted out of the backfield. Now it's fourth down, and you got to go for it here. Boy, Richardson is limping, isn't he? Got his left knee wrapped up.
Almost every play, he's hitting the ground, too. If it's not Sims on one side, it's Chuck Smith on the other.
Now, Jerry Burns, the one flaw in the offense today is third down conversions. They are 0 for 11. They just missed their 11th right there. Now they're going to fourth down conversions. And we'll see what they do here. They need about 1.5 yards. 41-13. Tennessee leads with 5:48 to go. Richardson in trouble. See you later. Chris Mims, third sack of the year, first for Tennessee today. Penalty marker is down right at the spot of the sack. And I think if you got to look at if this is against Tennessee, I think
it's against Temple, maybe.
Is it? Let's see. They're pointing both ways now.
No, the other guy. Okay, yes, he did.
Might be. Well, we won't guess.
I like the way Chris celebrated the sack myself.
Dead ball against Tennessee. So Tennessee will get the ball, but they'll march it back 15. Richardson just can't run, Ron. He's got no mobility at all. And
now, here we go. Watch this. Oh, they don't show it.
That was a Major League one, Major League celebration.
Lloyd Kerr.
NFL, he gets a penalty for that one.
Lloyd Kerr now comes into the game for Tennessee at quarterback with 5:40 to go. Tennessee now has been penalized 10 times in this game. You know, very unlike Tennessee.
The way this game is going to be perfect for next week because they've done enough good things where it won't be a real chewing session in the film room. But they've done enough bad things they can also learn from this game and get prepared for next week.
Well, that was a shot. Major shaking hands with an official during the game. Tracy Smith, good stiff arm to the 30. Out of bounds at the 37.
Tracy Smith needs to learn how to run north-south. I mean, he does a good job, great speed, but if he turns the corner and cuts inside that block, he could be gone.
There's Lloyd Kerr looking for his first completion. He's a redshirt freshman from Bolingbrook, Illinois. They like him. 6'3", 213, and he's got a great quick release, doesn't he?
Great quick release, and if they give him a chance to air one out, it will not be underthrown. I guarantee you that. He can throw the football.
They're marking the delay is to get the chains marked. Kerr scored a touchdown in the UTEP game. Basically, it was set up to be a pass, but the whole sidelines opened up, and he took off and ran it in for a score. There's a future volunteer. Yeah,
there you go.
He knows what he's talking about.
Tennessee, Notre Dame here next weekend. Tennessee has done what it's had to do. Win, and so far win convincingly against Temple. Kerr to throw it. Lets it fly. Hangs it up for Lee Wood, who is going to see it intercepted. Intercepted by the Temple Owls. Aaron Denton, the free safety, comes over. The ball kind of underthrown a bit.
Yeah, as soon as I opened my mouth, Lloyd, look what you do. But he did. He tried to lay that one in there instead of just throwing it. He can throw that ball. I think Coach Majors is getting ready to chew somebody about this one. I don't think he wanted Lloyd to even be put in that situation to try to do that yet.
They just put too much air under it and let Denton. Denton was beaten on the play and came back and made the grab. Second interception for Aaron Denton.
Better than a punt.
Well, look at Coach Majors there talking with Randy Sanders.
Yeah, I think right now, though, you want to have Kerr in there just to get some snaps. I mean, it's nice to get him to throw it, but he needs the experience of just handling game situations.
More plays, the better.
Yep. Richardson stays in at quarterback. I'm sure Temple might just run out the clock now. Leon Brown, a little trap play. stopped by J.J. Surlis, who is getting considerable playing time today. Lance Nelson is 90. Dwayne Dotson, Casey Rogers 99 off the 2-game suspension. Dwayne Dotson also, of course, was suspended, along with Keith Jeter for the incident at Gibbs Hall where the 3 players broke training rules. Leon Brown stays at tailback. Brown today has gained only 23 yards. He's really had a tough time. Those have been hard yards, too, he has gained. Tennessee 41, Temple 13. With 4:45 to go in at Neyland Stadium. We talked about the offense, the all-time Tennessee team. Here's the defense for the Volunteers. The ends, 2 pretty good ones. Doug Atkins, former Chicago Bear, great defensive player. Dale Jones, who had several big plays in that Alabama game back in the mid-'80s. Reggie White, Marion Hobby, the tackles. Steve DeLong, the middle guard. We'll check the secondary. 4:33 to go. Second down. Richardson zips the ball long, and the pass is intercepted by Lewis. Roderick Lewis played it well, stepped in front of Rob Graf, and the Volunteers get the ball right back. Tennessee's second interception of the day and 17th of the year.
Well, Steve Matthews is in the game. I guess they weren't too happy with the Lloyd Kerr pass downfield.
Good interception by Roderick Lewis on the play. Now Matthews gets a chance to show what he can do. Really, Kerr and Matthews have been battling for this backup job all season long. So Kerr gets a chance to play and Matthews gets a chance to play. Maybe also it might be by design. Here's Tracy Smith.
The turf monster tackle on
Charlie Chalkline got in
there
that
you
time.
go.
Smith stumbles in there. Now he's getting up a little bit slow. He might have got the old turf toe there. There's Roderick celebrating on the sideline. It's fun when you win in it, guys.
It's always much better, much better.
Total yards in the game. Tennessee now 469, Temple 201. And Temple got a lot of those yards in the first half. 131 in the first half for Temple, so only 70 yards second half. Matthews hands off to Kenneth Campbell. Campbell into Temple territory. Joe Lewis, not the fighter, makes the stop. There's Kenneth. Kenneth, they say he's got a lot of potential, but he's playing behind 2 pretty good fullbacks right now in Amsel and Poles. Here's the remainder of the all-time team as J.J. McCluskey looks on. The linebackers, Kiner, DeLong, and Reynolds. Defensive backs, Bill Bates and Eddie Brown, Roland James, and Bobby Majors. Kick returner Willie Galt, punter Craig Coughlin. Nothing there that time.
I think you could take a team with those guys and win just about anything.
Alfonso Taylor makes the stop. Connors, you were talking about the linebackers. What a group of linebackers those guys were, huh?
They were a different breed, and you just have to acknowledge that they were very hard-nosed football players, but they march to a different drummer. But most linebackers do if they're really good.
Steve Matthews, the crowd is urging Tennessee to throw the ball here, but after what happened to Kerr, I doubt if Tennessee's going to throw it. They're going to run it up the middle, and Tracy Smith gets stuffed on a 4th down play. 4th and 2. Greg Liberty makes the play, and Temple gets the ball. Tennessee runs 4 running plays and turns it over to the Owls with 2:18 to go in the game.
Speaking of linebackers, I got a chance to talk with Steve Kiner last night after the gala event. He's got an interesting job, but he's working at a psychiatric hospital.
That fits.
Well, one of them, you were telling me, one of the linebackers, selling dynamite someplace.
Well, Jamie Rotell wasn't on the list, but he's a dynamite salesman in Nashville. Sure is.
Yeah. There's Sterling Hinton with the crowd.
Jack Reynolds wasn't able to be with us. He was on his island in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Boy, tough break for Sterling in that Alabama game with a broken wrist and not knowing whether or not he'll be able to even return for the bowl game. Yeah, the problem is as a quarterback, tough to take a snap if you got a broken wrist. Efren Cabrera is the ball carrier for Tennessee, or for Temple. Clock runs down to 2:18. Todd Kelly, Randy Banks, Dwayne Dotson. Let's see if Banks is in there. Yeah, Randy Banks is in, 54. Nelson, Dwayne Dotson, the linebackers right now. Tennessee dressed out 104 players. A lot of them are going to get a chance to play. Richardson, where'd that one go to? Nowhere near on that one. Intended for Jamie Mikowski, wide receiver out of Philadelphia. 151. Tennessee has allowed 1 touchdown today and 2 field goals. So the defense continues to shine and play well.
The only thing that's really hurt Tennessee today is the penalties.
Yep, 10 of them.
That's something they'll have to correct, because against a good team like Notre Dame, you cannot have that many penalties in crucial situations.
You can't make any mistakes against those guys.
It'll kill you.
Temple has not had a 3rd down conversion yet today. Richardson, there's a penalty marker down, and Richardson's not going to get this one. Randy Banks, 54, and Dwayne Dotson knocked him down. Penalty marker is down one more time. Back in the vicinity of holding. And there you got it. Tennessee, I guess, will turn this one down. Well, there are 93,000 fans on hand when the game started. How many now, Ronnie?
I'd say less than half that.
They're having a happy trip home, though. Tennessee winning big today, 41-13. Chadwick's not a great offensive performance today, but I think at least a confidence builder. They got into the end zone. They got some 3rd down conversions. They did some things well, and they threw the ball pretty well today.
They did, and after last week, it's a step up, and it's a sign of improvement, which means that last week's practice, you can disallow all the comments about, well, maybe they're going to have a letdown after Alabama, or maybe they're not going to be concentrating. You can tell that they've put that game behind them. They've come out here and they've started on a new track for November, and they've done a good job for this game. But you're right, it's not a complete game. It's not the type of game that's going to entitle you to beat a Notre Dame ball club.
There's Anthony Richardson going over to the sideline. Temple's asked for a timeout. The official report on Temple's Matt Baker, their quarterback, he has been taken to the hospital for x-rays on that injured ankle. He went out in the 3rd quarter when Temple was driving. In fact, they had the ball inside the Tennessee 20-yard line. When Baker went out, Temple's offense pretty much ground to a halt.
Well, that was a turning point in the game.
Yeah.
Hey, with him in there, they still had a chance. They could still maybe come back. Once Temple loses him, then they've been anemic since. They haven't moved the ball. They haven't made anything happen. That was the end of the game in all intents and purposes.
There's Carl Pickens. What a big day he has had. And there's the Tennessee defense. Tennessee now total yards in the game, 477. The Temple Owls have 286. But Jerry Burnt, we got to remember, guys, Temple last year was 1-10. And this is a team that's won 4 games, and I think the least you can say, this is a very competitive team. I mean, they've got a chance to, with some more junior college players, and get Baker back next year. Well, Baker's a senior who graduates, but get somebody to replace Baker and a good quarterback, they could win some games in the East.
Well, I think they could. They have their offensive line is very big. I mean, they protected they have to be able to protect a mobile quarterback.
Yep.
They're not going to be a team that can just stand in there and let an immobile guy operate.
Richardson fires. Good catch. Did he get it? Yeah, nice play by Conrad Swanson. And so Temple finally converts. Lance Nelson drifts out to make the play on Tennessee. 41-13. Volunteers lead with 1:10 to go.
1:10 to go. I guess it's time for Melissa and Jazz to meet me at the tailgate. What do you think, Ron?
If it ain't close, they ought to be waiting.
Richardson dumps it off. Complete. Grab. Nope, not grab. Another wide receiver. That's 82, not 22. Mikowski makes the play for the Temple team. I'd like to thank Coach Steve Early. He was our spotter today. Earl Anderson on stats, along with Skip McMillan, everybody down in the truck. Mike Moore is our producer today. Russ Manning, Ben Huddleston, everybody, Richard Eller on Chirons, everybody did a great job. Tennessee 41-13. Richardson throws. That one's incomplete. And 10 for Sam Jenkins. Well, traffic guys will be better getting out of here tonight.
A few early exiters. Yeah, that'd probably make traffic a little bit better. Tell you, a bad pass right there saved a little dental work for that receiver because he got tricked again on the coverage, and he threw right into it, and there was Tracy Smith, I think. No, that's J.J. McCluskey.
Yeah. Tony Thompson today, 123 rushing. Carl Pickens, 144 yards receiving. And Roland Poles, 19 yards, but 3 touchdowns. 2nd and 10. Richardson throwing for the end zone. Devaney got it. Touchdown. What a catch by Devaney. Yeah, Dave Thomas hanging all over him. And Devaney makes the catch in the end zone for the Temple touchdown, their second of the game. And Temple now makes it 41-19. Boy, that was a nice pitch and catch. Richardson laid it right over the top, and Devaney was able to make the grab in the end zone. We got to remember, too, now, Temple had the interception called back because of the clip. Fenwick ran one in, so that's one more touchdown to wipe it off. So this Temple team has really shown itself very well today here against Tennessee. Wright to try the extra point. Kind of surprised not going for 2, but Wright will try and boot it through. And does so. 41-20 now is our score. 41-20 with 36 seconds remaining.
The touchdown was the same play they've ran 2 or 3 times before today. They had a slot to the wide side of the field and worked the backside with the tight end running a corner route. He was open before. That was just a beautiful pass and catch.
Boy, he laid that in perfectly. So that's a confidence booster for Temple, at least. Devaney now, 4 catches, 57 yards, and the touchdown. 41-20. Tennessee, Notre Dame next week, Neyland Stadium. Irish have won today. Temple has won. Tennessee, I guess to be perfectly honest, to have a shot of climbing to the top 5 in the country, going to New Year's Day Bowl, they've got to win the game next week, Condridge.
Well, I think that's true. They have to not only win the game, but have an impressive type of showing. I mean, it has to be one of those games that they not totally dominate, but definitely take charge. It can't be one of those iffy type of games where they maybe win on a last-second mistake by Notre Dame. I think they have to be the team that takes charge and the team that proves that it is a better team.
Ron, what about Notre Dame? I mean, everybody thinks that playing in the home field advantage and everything's going to help Tennessee next week, but Notre Dame gets that every single week wherever they go.
Well, Tennessee doesn't get a chance to be in the national spotlight like they're going to next week. And the game, what was it, 10 years ago when they played, you couldn't have bought a ticket. This will probably be the most scout ticket of the decade of Southeastern Conference football for everybody that wants to come and see this game. And I don't believe there'll be any trouble at all motivating the volunteer team to rise to the occasion just because of the name Notre Dame.
Notre Dame played today at the Meadowlands against Navy. It'll be the 3rd straight road game. They played at Pittsburgh last week. The Irish, of course, they dropped 1 game early, but they've been impressive the last couple of weeks. Bouncing kick. Tennessee fields it down the sideline and out of bounds. Vince Moore. Somebody throw a crunching block down there. J.J. McCluskey, I think, measured somebody and leveled him. Tony Schmitz got driven into the bench. Here's Vince. Lloyd Kerr now comes back. So obviously they're rotating the quarterbacks.
Yes, or maybe Lloyd was still on the phone.
There's Clemens McCroskey, and that's not a good sign. Clemens on crutches.
Yeah, I think that looks like the same knee he had trouble with before.
Tennessee's got its second line in there. Spivey. 36 seconds to go. Kerr going to roll.
There it is. Throw it. Good ball. Good ball.
Catch. Out of bounds. And the catch is made by Corey Fleming. Corey, the freshman out of Nashville. 6'3", 196. Another Temple player is down across the way. 28 seconds to go. Jerry Burns coming out to check on his injured Warrior. 41-20. Tennessee leads Temple. 28 seconds remaining.
Lloyd is, if you notice, just a little bit more fluid running and throwing than Andy. Andy's more of a stationary type quarterback, and he's not totally comfortable with moving and throwing, and I think it's something that Lloyd does a little bit better, but Lloyd still doesn't know enough offense to move Andy Kelly out of his position, and we just have to wait and see how they bring the young guys along.
They're still attending to the Temple player on the field. Tennessee on top of the Owls by 21 points, 41-20 now.
As the Three Stooges get dressed in the white.
I'm trying to figure, we've all had trying to get each other's coats on. We've all had each other's coats on at least one time. There's Virginia. Well, any thoughts of the Cavaliers losing? Might be by the board at least at halftime as the Cavaliers lead at 28-14. And this could very well be the last play of this game. Tennessee 41-20 now as Lloyd Kerr takes the snap from Brian Spivey, and Kerr is going to be sandwiched and thrown down. Making the stop for the Owls is Tim Pozanetti, and that's going to be it for today as the clock is at 10 seconds. Tennessee won't snap it again. And the Volunteers are going to win their 5th game of this season, their 22nd straight game in the month of November, as the Volunteers beat the Temple Owls today 41-20 at Neyland Stadium. Coach Johnny Majors congratulating members of the Owls as Tennessee now improves its record to 5-1-2. Condridge, it was a good win for Tennessee, but I think Temple also is one of those morale boosters maybe. I mean, they did some good things today.
Well, they did. Everybody had to expect them to come in here and just really get blown out by Tennessee. I mean, coming in
28-point favorite.
Coming into Neyland Stadium with the crowd here, and the fact that we just come off of a loss, expecting us to just come out and blow them away. And I think they held their own. I think once they got away from doing things that weren't natural for their offense, they moved the ball fairly well.
So Tennessee wins 41-20. Now the Volunteers gear up for Notre Dame next week. That'll be here at Neyland Stadium. The kickoff time has not been set just yet because they're waiting to see about national TV coverage. Let's go down to the field. Mike Keith and Tennessee's quarterback.
Tennessee quarterback Andy Kelly with us, Bob. And Andy, you don't know this yet. Today you were 15 of 21 for 271 yards. That's almost as many yards as you've thrown for the last 3 ball games. It looks like you found the range again.
Well, we had a good day today offensively. We got into a groove. We were moving the ball, running the ball. I was pleased with the way we threw the ball, and it was just a good job, I think, overall by our offense. We're able to get down and score points.
Was Temple tougher than you thought they'd be?
Temple had a good club. We knew coming in they were pretty big up front and physical, but we knew if we executed our stuff and played well that we could do some things, and I think we did that. But they did have a strong club, and they did some good things today.
Notre Dame next week, the one everybody's been pointing to. Can this game be overblown by Tennessee fans or players?
Well, I don't know. I think as players, I think this team's pretty mature. We're going to handle it right, and we're going to get ready for another big game. We realize the type team that Notre Dame has, and we realize what we're going to have to do to beat them. It's just going to take a really great effort on both sides of the ball.
Tennessee quarterback Andy Kelly. Back to you, Bob.
Okay, Mike. Thanks very much. Andy Kelly with a big win. Tennessee again, 41-20. Tennessee 5-1-2. Let's go back down to the field now. Mike is with Coach Johnny Majors.
Well, we'll have Coach Majors with us in just a minute as the Volunteers run